on time. I was so close. I thought I was, and then I wasn't. It is, what time is it? It's 7:32. Let me set my screen up the way I want it to be and send the Nearpod. Welcome, party. High quarter life crisis. Favorite student reporting pretty. There's the Nearpod if anyone wants to join. You don't have to, but it's always there. I'm drinking today. This is a Smirnoff Ice pink lemonade that I bought at a gas station, and it is not very good. I thought it would be good because I like pink lemonade, but it's not. So that's good. Hey Lena. Hey besties. And thanks for Nia Marielle for subscribing. Shout out to you for that. Oh my god, speaking of subscribing, I got a new emote. Is it there? If it's not there, I'm gonna be so violently angry. It is there. Look, I got a new emote. It's a thumbs down. It's a US flag with a thumbs down. Haha. New emote. Shout out to Twitch for the approval. We love that for us. Can I change the display of this? What? No? That's annoying. I love that it moves, right? I have a couple more. Do you guys have any ideas for emotes that move? Because I can have 3, and I only have 1. I can have 3 of those. I can have 4 or 5 more of the regular ones that don't move, and then I have a few of the ones that do move. But yeah, if anyone has ideas for emotes that move, let a girl know. Let a girl know. Here, let me send the, if anyone love this topic, I teach this in my psych class every year. Oh my god, Hannah, love that for us. I hope I do everything correctly. I got most of this information from Wikipedia. If you want to join the Nearpod, I sent the link again. Oh my god, first time watching, do I need to do anything else? No, you can literally just watch. You can just watch. There's a game at the end, and if you want to join it, you can, or you can just watch. But most of it, I'm just talking, and it's just a slide, so you can just watch. Hi. Oh my god, it's your first time watching and you subscribed? We love someone that's not afraid of commitment. Couldn't be me, but love that for you. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and move on from this slide. So today we're talking about MKUltra. Actually, let me read the slide before I move on from it. Today we're talking about MKUltra. MKUltra was a CIA program where basically the CIA tried to control people's minds with LSD. So they were doing, oh, I just realized the chat isn't showing up. Oh my god. I don't know why it always does that. It's so annoying. It's been doing it more recently. But anyway, the US government wanted to control people's minds, so they were doing human experiments with LSD, without consent of even the participants in the studies and stuff like that. It looks like I don't have a shirt on, but I definitely do. So we're talking about MKUltra today, and it happened in the 1950s. We have to sub so she can afford real streaming software. No, literally. No, you're not late. We started 2 seconds ago, and I'm usually late, so it's kind of surprising that I was on time today. Actually, I was late. I got here at 7:32. Sorry. I'm watching this instead of studying for my final tomorrow. H Smith 567. This is studying for your final tomorrow. I bet this is going to be on it. But yeah, so if you want to join the Nearpod and have your little answers pop up or whatever, you can, but you don't have to. You can just watch and you really get the same experience. But if you were being held hostage by the CIA, what substances would you want? Because that's what we're talking about today, is the CIA giving people drugs. They didn't hold anyone hostage. I mean, it depends on how you define that. But if you were being held hostage by the CIA, what would you want? Meth, so I can see what it feels like. I like how the first answer was meth, and the first answer was from someone named Slay Girl Boss. I love that. That's a very girl boss to want meth. Shrooms, literally something to block it all out. Oh my god, you guys are going a lot more intense than I expected. Watching this while writing my 2 final papers, get a bestie. Oh my god, thank you. First time chat, Bear and Warm Rock. I've got the AP Gov exam on Monday, and I'm watching this instead of studying. How many times do I need to tell y'all that this is studying? We are studying. What's confusing about that? We are studying. Right now, in this moment, we are studying. Here and now. We're studying. Let me read through the other answers. If I'm being held hostage, give me everything. Might as well have a good time. Fair. This is really not that great. It's also not cold enough. I was sitting in my car for maybe 45 minutes, so it's just not that cold. Maybe bath salts because it turns people into cannibals. Take bath salts so that you can escape the CIA holding you hostage. None, I'm too scared. Valid. I feel like, yeah, honestly, I'd be afraid. I'd be like, are you setting me up? Like, are you going to let me out and then put me in prison immediately? Hey, Average Tay. Thanks for putting me with my solo cup. Eating the CIA is the new taxing the rich. If the CIA captures you, just do bath salts to have superhuman strength and everything will be a-okay. So let's get into MKUltra, what it is, all that stuff. My parasocial relationships are growing from me, Miss Redacted, to me in this whole chat. This is the real relationship. Oh my god, first time chat and it's like a super long one from Lotion Lover. This is off topic, but you mentioned in an earlier stream you wanted to teach high school part-time in the future, but you're unsure if you would find a position to do that. Have you ever thought about teaching part-time at a community college? I attend community college, and I've had a handful of young teachers looking for something part-time and a super fun group of people. So I have thought about it. I think I would be great at it, and I would love it. I would love to teach like an intro history class at a community college because a lot of the students that I taught as 11th graders went to community college, and a lot of them had a hard time adjusting from like the high school to college experience. So I think I would be like a great community college professor. But don't you have to go to school for that? Don't you have to go to, what's it called? You have to get a master's, right? I don't have a master's. And I don't want to go back. I don't at all. I don't want to. Like, I don't want to do that. So if I have to do that, I'm probably not going to. But if I don't, I would. Master's is only a year and a half, though. I just hate it so much. I'll think about it. Maybe. We'll see. Yeah, I think you'd have to have a master's. I just don't like reading and writing. I like watching TV. Make a really good forgery of a master's degree. I'm just going to make a master's degree on Canva. How about that? Then what? Okay, let's go ahead and get into MKUltra. So, Project MKUltra, the experiments were intended to develop procedures and identify drugs such as LSD that could be used in interrogations to weaken individuals, force confessions through brainwashing and psychological torture. MKUltra used numerous methods to manipulate its subjects' mental states and brain functions, such as the covert administration of high doses, not microdosing, high doses, of psychoactive drugs, especially LSD, other chemicals, electroshocks, hypnosis, sensory deprivation, isolation, and verbal and trigger warning, sexual abuse, in addition to other forms of torture. Also, everyone should just, can I just blanket trigger warning everything because it's history, so it's a lot of bad shit, you know what I mean? I'm glad you're loving the memes. This one is a good meme one. I will say this one has a lot of good memes in it. I'm happy. I love this for us. So to give you context of the time period and why the government is making LSD and giving it to people, did they make it? I actually don't know. I bet they made it in a lab. I was about to say I wonder if they have a dealer, but I bet they just forced one of the scientists to make it. Never mind. So to give you context of why they were doing this, saw the preview on Insta and was stoked for the stream. Oh yeah, if you don't follow me on Instagram, I usually post the memes in advance. When I say in advance, I mean an hour in advance, because I did finish these slides 45 minutes ago. I could tell the memes were lit from your TikTok. TikTok, I'm having a bad time with TikTok right now. Me and TikTok are in a struggle point in our relationship. I think we're going to get better, but we're just going through some stuff right now. Imagine Eisenhower in a White House bathroom making LSD. Betty Crocker, homemaker. You hit it every time. Nail on the head. This is 11 from Stranger Things backstory, right? Her mama was whacked out of her mind while pregos with her. I haven't seen Stranger Things, so I'm sorry, I don't know, but I believe so. I have heard that Stranger Things was based on MKUltra, but I have not personally looked into it. But basically why the government was doing this is it was the Cold War. Honestly, a lot of the things in history that are why the fuck would the government do that? Cold War. The Cold War is literally the reason for so much shadiness. So the Cold War was a period of tension between basically the Western world and the Eastern world, and the Western world was led by the United States, really, and then the Eastern world was led by the Soviet Union, and so they were both just beefing with each other and trying to become more powerful. It's basically just the US and the Soviet Union competing for power. The Cold War never ended. No, literally. You and TikTok need to work it out because your content is how I get through my day. Thank you. I'm still enjoying making TikToks, but they kicked me out of the creator fund and they keep shadow banning me because I was talking about Twitch and they don't like it when I do that. So I'm kind of shadow banned right now, and it's just frustrating to be shadow banned, I guess. But yeah. So that's why me and TikTok are beefing. I still like making the videos and I like the people on there. It's like literally me and the app are beefing. The Cold War made everyone a little bit crazy. Yeah, Cold War was just like weird vibes for a while. I wish I had a clippy for my hair because it's wet and it's making me cold. I don't have a clip, but you know what I do have is scissors. I could just cut it off if I was in a silly, goofy mood. The entire U.S. history can be described as racism in the Cold War. They hate when you try and get people to leave the app. It's so frustrating. Yeah, I've just kind of given up on it. Like, I'm just like, whoever comes to Twitch, and the ones that don't. And it's fine. Whatever. I need to delete TikTok to stop frying my brain, but I love your videos so much. Thank you. Just block every single other user on the app. So anyway, Cold War, post-World War II, the U.S. and the Soviet Union are just beefing and trying to be more powerful than the other is like really all I'm going to get into right now. It was like at its worst in the 50s and 60s. I forgot it's making the little noises. I turned my sound off. It was at its worst in like the 50s and 60s, and basically the U.S. government thought that the Soviets and the Chinese and the North Korean like governments were using mind control to brainwash US POWs in Korea. So like because our government thought that they were brainwashing people, we were like, we should learn to brainwash people. But they never were brainwashing people, so we just like did that out of nowhere, I guess. Oh my god, I love all the aggressively thumbs down of the United States. I'm gonna make a better one. I bet I can make it so the flag is the thumb. That's what I'm gonna do. Yeah, this can be better. Now that I'm seeing it, I'm aspiring to be a better emote provider. Thank you, Apple's 040814 for subscribing. Thank you. The U.S. really said, what if we brainwash our own citizens for funsies? If they do it, we want to do it too. No, literally, the U.S. government was like, oh my God, we think that these other countries might be brainwashing our POWs, prisoner of war. What if we brainwashed our own citizens just to see if we could do it? Like, what the fuck? Can someone post the Nearpod link again? Hell fucking yeah, someone can. I can. Okay, so in response to them like believing that this was the vibes, Alan Dulles, who was the director of the CIA, approved Project MKUltra, which was the operation to develop techniques that could be used against the Soviet bloc enemies to control human behavior with drugs and other psychological manipulators. No one can commit crimes without the U.S. government. The U.S. government really said, if you're going to do crime, it's only okay if we are invited and we make money off of it. That's the rules. So the OG CIA gives people drug programs. MKUltra was not the first. Like everything terrible the U.S. has done, they've done it multiple times. History doesn't always repeat itself, but it always rhymes. So MKUltra was. Sorry, I always accidentally smack my mic when I'm playing with getting rid of my hair. Thanks for subscribing, Emily Myers. MKUltra was preceded by two other projects called Project Bluebird and Project Artichoke. Honestly, I think the CIA can really like up their game when it comes to the naming. Like I feel like their naming could be a lot better. They could be trying a lot harder. Like these are not that great of names. It's not crimes if we do it. It's just experiments for the U.S. government. God page. I literally hate us. I hate us too. So Project Bluebird was focused on hypnosis and behavior modification as a means of preventing employees from providing intelligence to like enemies. So like it started with them being like, oh, let's brainwash our own employees to make sure that they keep our secrets, which like, I don't think I have to say this, but like if your boss is trying to brainwash you, that's a red flag and you should get on LinkedIn. Like if your boss is trying to literally take over your mind and change your thoughts, it might be time to update the resume. Like you might need to put in your 2 weeks notice. And honestly, you should probably just leave right then and there if we're being honest. I think that's just like, you know, we grow up with capitalism just like being ingrained in us. And that's what made me say give 2 weeks notice. But fuck that. You don't need to give 2 weeks notice. If your boss is trying to brainwash you, you can just leave. They cancel out. It's giving MLM an education. I feel like this is a stream I shouldn't be leave for. Hard to say. Depends on you, I think. So Project Artichoke was another CIA project that was used to research interrogation methods. The primary goal was to determine whether the person could be involuntarily made to perform an act of attempted assassination. So Project Artichoke was specifically about like getting someone brainwashed enough to kill somebody else, I guess is the plan. And Project Artichoke is the one that led to Project MKUltra, which began in 1953. So those were the OGs. I told y'all the memes were good on this one. Project Bluebird sounds so cute. It does kind of sound cute, and then you find out what it is, and you're like, oh, ooh. I couldn't work at the CIA because they'd be like, this is Project Artichoke. And I'd be like, you know what sounds fucking great right now is spinach artichoke dip. I make a mean spinach artichoke dip. If you guys want me to bring it tomorrow, just say the word. Like, I could not work somewhere where anything is serious. This is what conservatives think teachers are attempting in schools. How have I not been, like, in that world? Like, so many other TikTok teachers have, like, been on Fox News and shit like that. How has that not happened to me? God is protecting me, I think. Also, I'm not a teacher anymore, so I think, like, now they don't really give a shit about me because now I'm just, like, a bitch online, you know? Like, now that I'm not indoctrinating the youth or whatever. You can't even indoctrinate them. I would try and indoctrinate them. I would literally try and indoctrinate them to, like, answer my messages on Remind and, like, click the turn-in button after they did their work, and they wouldn't do it. So, like, you really think I can change their entire worldview? HBIC online. But just wait till we find this channel. If Fox News finds me, I'm going to have to make it subscribers only. I'm sorry. If you're going to bully me, I'm going to get paid. One of my biggest takeaway from your streams is the government literally loves capitalism so much they will do anything to protect it. And for what? Because they are the capitalists. They own the capital. They're the elites. We live in an oligarchy. Kids these days are so unindoctrinable. That's what I'm saying. I feel like I was very indoctrinable as a child. And my kids, I would not be able to indoctrinate them. They'd be like, get out of here. And I'd be like, okay. Was artichoke before the Pilgrim shock experiment? I'm not sure. Huh. I don't know what that is. Like total cowards, I don't get it. Why are they so scared of it going away? Because they know that then they would have to do actual work. Because, like, the whole thing with capitalism is that, like, the people at the top that hold the capital, they don't have to perform labor. You know what I mean? Like, they just get to sit around telling people what to do all day. That's not labor. Labor is, like, physically working or making something or teaching someone something or, like, producing in some kind of way. So the capital, the people with capital, the capitalists at the top who also control our government, like, they're not engaging in labor, and they know that if we didn't live under capitalism, they would have to engage in labor. Because if you are not living under capitalism, there's no need for, like, management and money management. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's different. Crazy how we let sorry, I, like, got tongue twisted there. Crazy how we let a handful of corporations control our food supply and prices. It's scary. I don't think we can talk about this because I'm going to freak myself out. When I think about the supply chain too much, I, like, really start to panic because, like, so, like, I have a lot of interests that are very weird. So, like, I know a disturbing amount about, like, the U.S. agricultural system and, like, our food supply, and I just can't really get into it because I'll freak myself out because I know too much, if that makes sense. So I just, like, I can't with the supply chain right now. I just can't talk about it, and I can't think about it, and I just can't. Hold on, I just looked at this meme, and it's probably your best work, no lie. Thank you, Gab Page. I was very proud of this one. My job is entirely dependent on the supply chain. LMAO, we are the factory, so when raw materials are hard to get, it's very bad for business. Yeah, the supply chain is fucking us up right now. We are getting, I was going to say it really crude. Whatever, it's the internet, who cares? We are getting fucked raw by the supply chain on the daily. Like, it's so bad. Like, however bad you think it is, it's worse. I told myself, I literally just said that we weren't going to do this. I just told myself I was not doing this. I can't do this right now. They might put you on the list if you talk about the supply chain. Doop. Raw dogged by the supply chain, not clickbait. Why is adulthood like 99% made up problems? Oh my God. Have you seen her teacher explaining that her week's curriculum to her kindergartners that progressively got unhinged? No, I haven't seen that. Send it to me. But if I get rid of capitalism, how would they make money? What if we hurt billionaires' feelings? That's what we really have to protect is billionaires' feelings. So I want to explain this meme a little bit. Let me see if It'll let me like zoom in on it at all. Nope, that's worse. So the U.S. government telling everyone they're protecting us from evil communist governments, Americans eating that shit up, while leftists are losing their freedom of speech during the Cold War, and Americans who were experiencing drug-induced torture at the hands of the U.S. government are underwater, and no one knows about them because it was just the worst vibes. Oh my God, so many messages. Milgram shock experiment was a psychology experiment that was trying to test if soldiers in World War II were actually terrible or if they were just following orders. Interesting. So they have normal people come in and told them that they were shocking a person every time they made a mistake in reading something, and each shock would get more intense. People would go all the way up in the shock labeled with skull and crossbones. Oh, I think I have heard of this. Tell me why I need a credit score. It was created when my father was literally 20 years old. Credit scores are a joke. Like, I have a good credit score and I have decent credit. I don't have much of a credit history because I don't use credit cards like that, but my credit history that I do have is, like, good. And, like, it's a joke. Like, that means nothing. That means literally nothing. He's currently 53 for reference. My dad is in his mid-60s, and I literally, like, had a fight with him about credit scores. I was like, you were an adult, and you were a business major in college. So why did you let that happen? You didn't even try? I was like, were there not protests? I was like, why weren't you at the protest? Were there not picket lines against credit scores? Like, what were you guys doing? Literally, what were you doing? When did credit scores come out again? Does anyone know when credit scores came out? I'm gonna Google it. Not come out. When did credit scores come out? Apparently phrasing other people use. 1950. What? No, that's credit cards came out. When did credit scores come out? 1989. 1989. Were there not protests against credit scores? 1989. Oh, y'all crushing it in the chat. 1980s. Like, how did they let that happen? The fact that if I pay my student loans off early, my credit score will go down tells me all I need to know about our credit system. Literally. Babe, wake up. New credit scores dropped. It should be noted that the Grateful Dead had parties where they put LSD in the water supply and didn't tell people that got to drink from a faucet you were fucked. We're going to talk about the Grateful Dead because one of the guys that wrote the songs for the Grateful Dead was in MKUltra, and that was the first time he had LSD. Blowing your fucking mind left and right. So stick around because that's what we're going to talk about later. Okay, let me focus. Taylor Swift credit scores. No, because people in the 1989 were brainwashed by Reagan. Maybe Reagan was behind MKUltra, and that's how we got people to believe in credit scores and that they were good ideas, that he brainwashed us all on LSD. I feel like this goes back to women being able to get credit cards. Oh yeah, women couldn't get credit cards or bank accounts for like a long time. Are we going to talk about Ken Casey? Yes, the fuck we are. Yes, the fuck we are. Okay, let's focus. Let's get back to the Nearpod. We've already been here for 23 minutes, but I'm literally having the time of my fucking life. Oh, we're talking about our social security cards in the chat. You should do a stream on how Reagan brainwashed people so badly, how he took an entire generation and made them regurgitate trickle-down economics for 40 years. That would have to be a multi-parter. I could do like a month-long series that's like how Reagan worsened America. I was going to say ruined America, but America was like pretty rough before that already. I could do like a month-long series on Reagan. Okay. So, why does the CIA seem to do whatever the fuck they want to? The director of the CIA is not, like, why I want to talk about this is because I feel like the CIA does all these shady things, and it's like, why isn't this talked about? Why isn't this a thing? And it's because the director of the CIA is nominated by the president, confirmed by the Senate, and they're in charge of managing everything. And so the CIA is operated as an independent federal agency, and Congress and the executive branch oversee them, but Congress, like, sucks at doing work. So, like, the Department of Education and, like, all these other things have basically, like, other parts of the government checking their shit. And the CIA is just, like, in charge of themselves, other than Congress and the president. Like, no one can check them on their shit. And everything's, like, confidential and private. So that's basically why they get to do whatever the fuck they want. It's, like, kind of a flawed system. Not Troy Bolton. That's the CIA. They can't be tamed. Whatever Nixon didn't break, Reagan absolutely obliterated. Yeah, that's true. Can you do streams about either Roosevelt? Yeah, I can. I can. And I love seeing Jessica NP has like the first founding subscriber thing. That's my favorite little badge on here ever. It's my favorite. Checks and balances was a scam. Our government has a lot of scams. So the origins of the program, meaning, can we do something on Miss Roosevelt and her lesbian persuasions? I don't know that much about that, but I'm going to hit it with a Google, and absolutely we fucking can. So, origins of the MKUltra program, according to this guy that wrote a book about this, it was a continuation of the work begun with World War II Japanese facilities and concentration camps on subduing and controlling human minds. Basically, like, the governments of Japan and Germany during World War II were like trying to do this, and when the war ended, the US was like, maybe we should try and do that. Even though we hated you and tried to kill you and we said everything you were doing is bad, like, maybe we should try and do that again. Feminist Queen 99, there's the pod. Peace and love. Thank you for joining. Me teaching government. This is what's supposed to happen, but never does. The fact that the USA did this, can we get a restart, love? Literally. So, Kinzer wrote that MKUltra's use of mescaline, the words are hard, on unwitting subjects was a practice that Nazi doctors had begun, and he proposes that the evidence of the continuation of the Nazi agenda, citing the CIA's secret recruitment of Nazi torturers to continue the experimentation, and Nazis brought to Fort Derrick to instruct CIA officers on how to use the lethal gas. So, yeah, big thumbs down. Daphne333, thanks for subscribing. But big thumbs down to the U.S. government, because they basically were like, we hate the Nazis, but we're going to finish what they started, is like basically what our government did. Not us recruiting Nazis yet again. I know, I didn't even do this intentionally. Like, I knew a little bit about MKUltra, but I didn't know about the origins of it until I looked it up today, like this morning when I made this. But I was like, damn, I just did a stream about the U.S. recruiting Nazis. OMG, like, I'll DM you a cute story my teacher told me about Eleanor and her little lesbian activities. Please DM me about Eleanor Roosevelt's lesbian activities, always. If it wasn't an atrocious war crime, it would have been funny that the U.S., the government, thought they could mind control / telepathy with her. Yeah, it's, like, kind of funny. Like, it's not funny, but it's funny that they thought that. The fighting Nazis to recruiting Nazis pipeline is strong in the U.S. It really is. Paying Nazis to dissect people alive greater than healthcare. It's Lesbian Visibility Week. Oh, we should have done the Eleanor Roosevelt's lesbian tendencies stream today. Congrats to the lesbians for their Visibility Week. I'm happy you're here, and I love you and support you in all of your endeavor. Let's go, lesbians, let's go. I love that audio. The U.S. government. We hate Nazis, torture, and drugs. The U.S. government, all three of those things together. America, not the Nazis again. Give it a break. No, like, it's honestly getting old. Like, it's getting old and it's getting embarrassing that the U.S. is working with Nazis this many times. It's like, seriously? Like, Nazis again with the Nazis. It feels like when you have a kid that, like, keeps doing a fucking thing, like a kid, oh, they always, like, shove all of their clothes, like, underneath the sink instead of putting them in the hamper. Just like, you know, kids do weird shit like that, where you're like, again? Like, why? What's the appeal? Why are you doing this? Explain it to me, because I don't understand. 1010 meme, the fact that they still are. It's embarrassing. It is embarrassing for us. It is, like, are they not embarrassed? Like, if, I shit you not, if I was a congressperson, I would be so embarrassed. I would not want to walk the streets because I'd be so embarrassed. I'd be like, this is so embarrassing that I work here. Like, it's so embarrassing that I work at a place that, like, runs this shitty. Like, that's how I felt. I used to work at this restaurant that was, like, run really shitty and everything was a mess, and I would feel so embarrassed. Like, I would be talking to the customers and I would just feel embarrassed because I'd be like, this is not right. This is not how it should go. And that is how I would feel if I was the president. I'd be embarrassed all the time. Every time I took the podium, addressed Congress, made a speech, I'd be like, I'm sorry, you guys. I just want to get that out of the way that I'm sorry. I found the TikTok on Twitter. What's your email? I'll send to you. Oh my God, okay. I'll send it right now. In the chat. That's my email. The secondhand embarrassment is so bad. It literally is. I would be murked because I did a press conference. I'd be like, y'all, they're at it again. I swear to God. No, I'd be like, I don't want to go back out there because they're asking valid questions and I don't have an answer and we're not doing anything about it. So what do I say? What do I say? The U.S. government does need super nanny. It's embarrassing. Okay, so the U.S. is a hater to anyone that has a different government, but then also copies their ideas, which is fan behavior. So the project was headed by this guy, but began on the order of CIA Director Alan Dulles in 1953, and like we said, it was supposed to develop mind control. They wanted to use similar methods on the U.S.'s captives and were interested in manipulating foreign leaders and devising schemes to drug Fidel Castro. Why does everything shitty that the U.S. government does during this time come back to killing Fidel Castro? Why does it always circle back there? Every time. Every time it comes back to killing Fidel Castro. Baron Warnock, thank you for joining. Thank you for subscribing. I love that for us. No, I'd literally be ashamed to show my face because socialism. Yeah, I know, because socialism, but they're fixated. It's fan behavior. The U.S. is exhibiting fan behavior to Fidel Castro. To be that obsessed with someone is fan behavior, literally. So it often conducted experiments without the subject's knowledge or consent. In some cases, academic researches were funded through grants from CIA front organizations, but were unaware that the CIA was using their work for this purpose. So they were fucking the scientists, they were fucking the participants, they were fucking up everybody, you know what I mean? Was Fidel even that bad? I'm not educated enough to speak on that. He is complicated. The US made fanfic about him. We had a simulation on the Cuban Missile Crisis last week and half the kids were like, why are we always fucking with Cuba? No, really. So the project attempted to produce a perfect truth drug for interrogating suspect Soviet spies during the Cold War and explore other possibilities of mind control. The project was the Navy's Sub-Project 54 was the Navy's top secret perfect concussion program, which was supposed to use a suborbital frequency blast to erase memory, and the program was never carried out. Most MKUltra records were destroyed in 1973, so it's been difficult to investigate it, but we do have information on it. He did a lot of good, but a lot of Cubans don't like him. Yeah, Fidel Castro is super complicated. The CIA giving funding to researchers and then not checking up on them or regulating them. And also, I'm not clear on this, but I think some of the researchers were Nazis that they recruited because they recruited Nazis to train them, and a lot of Nazis were recruited to do science. So that's just I'm kind of just drawing a logical connection there. I looked it up and couldn't really find anything saying one way or the other directly, but I don't know. I just feel like that is the same people, so why wouldn't that, you know what I mean? That's just logical to me, but I don't know for sure. It's giving Professor Umbridge torturing Harry. I don't know shit about Harry Potter. That's one thing that I don't know. I missed it. It's too late for me. I don't think I can get into the Harry Potter universe, and I'm not really into the supernatural stuff. I like reality TV. I need to watch Ultimatum. The U.S. hired so many Nazis after World War II. Yeah, exactly. So, I feel like that probably definitely happened. You know what I mean? Sorry, you can hear, sucking my snot up my nose. I just finished the Ultimatum. You should get into it now anyway. No one tell me about the Ultimatum. Okay, so the 1950s to 1970s is literally the government's fever dream era. The 1950s to 1970s when we were trying to, prevent communism from spreading and all that shit. That is a fever dream. So what weird shit have y'all heard about the government doing during this time because they were afraid of communism? Or you can just add memes or jokes or whatever out there. McCarthyism. McCarthyism's the big one. Is it kind of glitchy for anyone else? Sorry, I just want to know if it's a me problem. I hope it's not glitchy. Thank you for being here, Scott12344. I hope it's not glitchy, and I hope that you get it resolved soon. If it is, just you. And if it's me, I'm sorry. This is a very low budget environment. For me, it's a bit interesting. Glitchy how? No glitchy here. Interesting. Very interesting. Okay. Noted. Glitchy how? Sound, video, screen share, skipping. Oh, skipping. It'll skip audio every once in a while. Oh, okay. Okay. Good to know. Sometimes I accidentally, smack the shit out of this mic. So, I'm gonna Does it say you're dropping frames? It was for me a little bit. I think it was minor. Interesting. I don't know what any of this means. No, it says I have 0 frame drops. That's usually what it says. Give me a sec. I'm sending a meme I made for my kids to myself. Smack that. Sometimes I be smacking the mic. Yeah, it seems like for some people it is, for some people it isn't. I don't have the best Wi-Fi in the world. I'm moving in July though, and I'm gonna invest into like the best Wi-Fi I can get. Okay. Thank you, Julie M815 for following me. It's delayed, kinda. You know, we're gonna upgrade soon. We're gonna upgrade soon. I'm hearing it's a thing, but it's not that bad. So glad to hear. Okay, so letting McCarthy have any sort of say of anything. Internment camps, bro, that's a fucking big one. Korea and Vietnam, McCarthy killed all the birds and replaced them with robots. Sometimes I would make jokes about that when I was teaching. I'd be like, all the birds work for the bourgeoisie, but then and I'd be like, all the birds came from the CIA. But then I would get worried and I'd be like, what if the kids don't realize that I'm joking? So I stopped doing it because I got worried that some of them didn't know I was joking, and I didn't want to accidentally be a conspiracy theorist teacher, in a bad way, and end up on the news. So I had to stop making those jokes because I didn't think they were landing. I have this meme saved from 2 weeks ago and it makes me laugh. Oh my god. JFK gay as hell for falling asleep with a fat ass in front of him. That's terrible. That is terrible. Whoever made that is going to jail. Those were funny. You should have continued. Even though I'm a history major, I always think of X-Men first when I hear about the Cold War. I thought internment camps weren't about communism, but the fifth column thingy. Yeah, internment camps weren't really a communism situation, but they were still crazy. Did your school have conspiracy theorist teachers? Not that I'm aware of. I can't find the mail. Oh, I'm sorry. That's tough. Communism sucks. Actually, do you have a minute to discuss it? The Vietnam War. This is literally, I'm sorry, I'm still not over this. It's so funny. It's terrible. This is not okay to joke about, but it's so funny. Thank you, Leslie. I wouldn't be surprised if they use this time perfecting drugs in the lab to contribute to the crack epidemic soon to follow in 80s and 90s. That's a good point. That you're asking the real questions here. That's a very good point. Interesting. Okay. So, drop in the chat which substance or material you want to get your hands on. This is a list of the study of the assortment of mind-altering substances. So this is all the materials they wanted. Let me know which one you want to try. Number 1, substances that will promote illogical thinking and impulsiveness to the point where, I fucked up those lines, where the recipient would be discredited in public. We'll just call that 1/2, sorry. Substances which increase the efficiency of meditation and perception. Materials which counteract the intoxicating effect of alcohol. Materials which promote the intoxicating effect of alcohol. What would happen if you took 4 and 5 at the same time? After this project, all the perfectly good drugs were just sitting in a basement, and they were like, hey, you know what we could do with this? What would happen if you did 4 and 5 at the same time, I'm wondering? 4 is T, I wonder if it worked. Yeah, right? I'll take 12, please. Okay, materials that will promote the materials that would produce the signs and symptoms of recognized disease in a reversible way, so they may be used for malingering. What the fuck? 7, the materials that will render the induction of a hypnosis easier or otherwise enhance its usefulness. 8, substances that will enhance the ability of individuals to withstand privation, torture, coercion during an interrogation, and so-called brainwashing. So not only did they want to learn how to brainwash people, they wanted to make sure that they could avoid it. 9, materials and physical methods which will produce amnesia. 10, physical methods of producing shock and confusion over extended periods of times capable of surreptitious use. Substances which produce physical disablement such as paralysis of the legs or acute anemia. Substances which will produce pure euphoria with no subsequent letdown. Malingering has been a vocab word for me in class in 2 classes this year. What does it mean? Do you know? That'd be cool if you knew, because I don't. Does it mean like lingering for a long time? 12, gimme. 12, please, right? I told y'all 12's the best one. Don't let my ex have 13. What's 13? Substances which alter personality structure in a way the tendency of the recipient to become dependent on another person is enhanced. Bro, do not give men access to 13. 12 seems great. 13 is immediately no. Immediately no to 13. Absolutely not. Oh, that's terrifying. White man science is deeply unwell. Like, thank you. Because why'd you think of that? Why was this the 13th thing you thought of? I could think of so many other things before I thought of that. Like, oh, malingering, pretending to be ill to get out of work or school. I love that. I love pretending to be ill. Because you also get attention, too. My favorite things, lying and attention. That's concerning. No one show this to my therapist. Me and her are doing well. I make her laugh a lot, but sometimes I say things and she looks really concerned, and I'm like, oh, awkward. Wait, question. Did we learn about all these drugs when the privacy thing expired on them? I forgot what it's called. So, no. Basically, the CIA destroyed all the documents, but they're stupid, so they forgot about some of them. And then, like, in the 1970s, they did an investigation, which is how we learned about this. Okay. A material which will cause mental confusion as a type of individual under its influence will find it difficult to maintain a fabrication under questioning. Substances which will lower the ambition of general efficiency of men when administered in undetectable amounts. Would you give this to, like, an enemy's soldiers? Is that the point of 15? Substances which promote weakness or distortion of eyesight, hearing, faculties, and preferably without permanent causes. Like how they're like, preferably it's not permanent, but we're willing to compromise. A knockout pill, which can be administered in drinks, foods, cigarettes, aerosol, etc., which will be safe to use, provide a maximum of amnesia, and be suitable for use of agents on an ad hoc basis. I don't even know what the fuck that means. A material which can be administered by the above routes in a way which small amounts will make it impossible for a person to perform physical activity. Oh my god, notes this time are so fun. Lena with the notes, always, period. I love that for us. Okay, so the actual work of the project, like what the fuck were they actually doing? Most of it was in the US, some of it was in Canada too, which we'll talk about, and it was done at universities, hospitals, and prisons. Oh, ad hoc means as needed. Thank you. There's so many things I don't know. Wow. Okay, so most of this took place between 1953 and 1964, but it's not clear how many people were involved. The agency did not really keep clear records, and they destroyed all of the documents about it in 1973. The CIA began to experiment with LSD under direction of the chemist and poison expert, Sidney, I don't know how to say that. He believed the agency could harness the drug's mind-altering properties for brainwashing and psychological torture. The CIA began to fund studies at Columbia University, Stanford University, and other colleges on the effects of the drugs. And after a series of tests, the drugs were deemed too unpredictable for use or counterintelligence. So that's kind of like the overview of the project, and now we'll get into the details. But it wasn't just LSD. They also experimented with MDMA, heroin, methamphetamines, mushrooms, like tons of crazy shit. Here's another good meme. No one. Absolutely not a soul. CIA-funded scientist at Stanford in the 1950s. Part of me thinks this might have just been like grad students being like, well, what if we applied for a bunch of CIA grant money to just do LSD all day, every day? I feel like maybe that might have happened. Like, there's a possibility. How did so many scientists keep this hush-hush? Because they're white CIA-funded scientists. Like, sorry, my ass would talk. I'm just bad at keeping secrets. I would literally be at the gas station and be like, what do you do for a living? Do you want to talk about what I do for a living? Like, why did I think LSD and MDMA were the same thing? Because you're wholesome. I'm not, also, for the record, I'm not into any of this. Absolutely not. I've had so many terrible, horrifying, scary reactions to prescription medications that, like, I'm really not into trying anything. Like, I really have no desire to try because I know that, like, something bad will happen, because it always does. Every time, like, I've had to take a painkiller, it will always have some weird side effect on me. Like, I just am not doing it. Melatonin gives me reoccurring nightmares, and then I also just get reoccurring nightmares. Like, they're much worse if I take melatonin. But if I take a sleeping pill, I get terrible reoccurring nightmares. They're literally awful. So, no, I'm not into any of this. I'm into it from a historical perspective, but not as a user. They couldn't do this now because people would make TikToks and be like, so this was my experience as a government lab rat taking LSD for the mind control experiment. Literally, like, Jake Paul would be like, hey guys, we are at the CIA testing facility. We're about to do MDMA and heroin at the same time. Like, they could not do this today. Romanticizing lab rat. Like Mr. Beast video. Imagine Addison Rae. She's like, hey guys. I don't know how to do the TikTok dances, I'm sure, as you can tell. Because it wasn't even thousands or hundreds of scientists, a couple dozens at most, and they were the only ones that knew the drugs were being administered. And also, some of them didn't. They were being funded by the CIA, because the CIA would use front organizations to give them the money. So some of the scientists didn't even know. It's nice to get this POV from a historical side versus a drug user side, because there's also people that are like, just try it, you'll see what I mean. No, I'm not advocating for anyone to try anything. I see so many people in clinical trials doing exactly that on TikTok. If it makes Jake Paul jump out of a building, I'm all for it. And then Logan Paul would be like, I'm here on this vlog to tell you about a terrible tragedy that the Paul family, because all of you are in the Paul family, have endured. That's exactly what would happen, and you can't tell me I'm wrong. Morgan Ashley, sorry you're late for class. I'm sorry too. How did they go from this to Dare in like a literal decade? That's what blows my mind. I'm not sure if I'm jumping ahead, but did afterwards anyone investigate it and be like, hey, that was me? Yes, people were like, hey, that was me. LSD wasn't a common recreational drug until it broke out of the labs. Yeah, that's also another good point. It's not like LSD was like on the streets like that at this time. They like invented it, high key. LSD is only okay when the CIA does it, apparently. So early CIA efforts were focused on LSD, which later came to dominate MKUltra's programs. Oops, there's the Wikipedia citation. The CIA wanted to know if they could make Soviet spies defect against their will, and whether Soviets could do the same thing for the CIA's own operatives. So once Project MKUltra got underway, experiments included administering LSD to mental patients, prisoners, drug addicts, and prostitutes, and, quote, people who could not fight back, as one agency officer put it. In one case, they administered LSD to a mental patient in Kentucky for 174 days. They also administered LSD to CIA employees, military personnel, doctors, and other government agents, and members of the general public to study their reactions. LSD and other drugs were often administered without the subject's knowledge or informed consent, which was a violation of the Nuremberg Code that the U.S. agreed to follow after World War II. The aim of this was to find hard drugs which would bring out deep confessions or wipe a subject's mind clean to program them as a robot agent. So even though, like, we helped create the Nuremberg codes that were like, hey, you can't do experiments on people without their, like, consent and, like, information, and we did the same thing later. Drug addicts and mental patients aren't what I'd consider a good control group. Yeah, literally, like, zero shade to those groups of people, but, like, generally if you're experimenting in, like, a medical way, you need to have, like, really strict parameters and, like, make sure everything is consistent. And if you are, like, experiencing addiction or you're having mental struggles, your brain chemistry is probably not quite, like, traditional. So, like, you're not going to be a good candidate for experimenting on just because of that. You know what I mean? Just how, like, if you needed a model to design an average sized garment, you wouldn't use someone that's like 6'5", you know? Let me catch up with the chat. Jesus Christ, love the CIA. How is this legal? The CIA is the police and the law, so they do whatever they want. I'm sorry, if I got LSD without my knowledge, I would quite literally burn the entire government down. Fuck with me. Wasn't it like how they tried to make a cat secret agent? I don't know about that. Or was that the USSR? I have no idea. The CIA was the mafia hooking people on LSD. No, literally, Blue Booby, 1, thank you for being a subscriber. 2, they literally got these people, like, hooked on stuff and, like, gave them drugs that these people never would have tried if it wasn't for this. What if we help make this code but don't follow it? Will you be mad? I don't know. I don't know what that means. Can you imagine all the people whose lives completely got messed up outside of work because of drugs being administered unknowingly? No, literally, it would fuck your life up. Everything the the government bans other people from doing is just to distract us from them doing it. They're like, hey, no one do this, and then they do it. Every law is just the government projecting. Every law that we have is literally just the government doing that thing and feeling guilty about it. And then they demonize them, literally. For reference, the normal dose of recreational use of LSD is about 100 UG, or half that. Some MKUltra, they gave doses up to 2,000. This was like crazy high amounts. Also, I realized there was a meme that I forgot. So here's one meme about this. Oh my God, the chat I love right now. Let me focus. How dare my own citizens do LSD when I forced it on people? How dare my citizens do the drug that I created and gave to them? Who do you think you are? Who do you think you are? If you're going to give people max against their will, at least make it a proper experimental design. No, literally. Like, you're already being shady, but also doing bad science. Like, come on. Pick a struggle. Like, either be bad at science or be unethical. Pick one. Thanks for subscribing, Clean Bee. Solid meme. God, stay in your lane. Let me show you the other meme that I made. Sometimes if I, like, do it last minute, it throws them to the end. And I think that might be what happened here, but I want to show you. The U.S. government recruiting Nazis for the CIA after World War II. World War II veterans who put their life on the line to stop the Nazis. If I was a veteran and I found out about this, I'd be like, no. Like, if I had been in Europe fighting Nazis, almost dying, and then I found out the government flew them here, oh, I'd be so mad. They can't even be a good supervillain. I'd be pissed. I think that's such a valid reason to be pissed. Eugenicism was a super popular science stance in the 40s, 50s, and 60s. We literally inspired the Nazis. No, the Nazis like looked at the U.S. and were like, take notes. Take notes on everything they've done. Either bad at science or bad at ethics. Someone should have told Elizabeth Holmes that before she started Theranos. But my sister took Elizabeth Holmes' downfall so personally, because my sister like really idolized Elizabeth Holmes, and then when that happened, my sister was like, damn, corporations are a scam. And now my sister like isn't super girl bossy as much as she once was. You know what I mean? She was a Lizzie super fan. She loved her. She was like, oh my God, she's this young woman in this male dominated industry, women in tech. And then yeah, just after that, it was very heartbreaking for her. Hope she's okay with me sharing that. Yeah, Apples, where did you go? The Venus Flytrap 25. The government said, risk your life for the Nazis. Anyway, circling back. Have you watched The Dropout? No, I need to watch it. Okay, let me get back to the right slide. I wish it had the numbers on them. There it is. Okay. You got a preview. Wait, speaking of eugenics, can you do a stream about Helen Keller? She was a eugenicist, but then a primary donor to the... but then became a primary donor to the NAACP and then founded the ACLU. Oh my God, I did not know that. I should do that. Okay, so LSD is only okay when the CIA does it, apparently. Continued. There's also this other part, like Operation Midnight Climax is like an operation within MKUltra, basically. So Operation Midnight Climax is when the CIA set up several brothels. A brothel is like a sex worker area where they work. That's like what that is. Sorry, the chat was distracting me. They set up several brothels within agency safe houses in San Francisco and obtained a selection of men who would be too embarrassed to talk about the events? I don't really know what that means. The men were dosed with LSD, and the brothels were equipped with one-way mirrors. Oh my God, Michael Jordan's toupee. Midnight Climax is a great name for a sex club. That's basically what it was. And then after the dosage, the CIA, while at times drinking cocktails from behind a two-way mirror, watched the drug's effect on these men's behavior, and recording devices were installed. This is literally taxpayer-funded voyeurism. Is that how you say that word? This is literally CIA guys being like, what if we hired a bunch of sex workers and then gave a bunch of people LSD to watch them get it on? Why is this fraternity hazing? The CIA is just a fraternity that took it too far. The CIA is a fraternity that took it too far. They have the letters, they have the old ass buildings, they wear matching outfits, they have weird little rituals, and they burn documents and shit. They take their little headshots. The CIA is just a fraternity that went too far. They have JFK. This is why they always want to go back to the good old days. Literally, they're like, well, back in the good old days, we could do whatever we wanted. And it's like, yeah, and this is what you did, and that's why we had to stop, because you took it too far. And now we have to be strict, because somebody can't be chill. This literally is fraternity hazing. Okay, so the men were dosed with LSD, and then the CIA ops were literally like watching them. So in other experiments where people were given LSD without their knowledge, they were, I think I meant to not put this here. Oops. Yeah, this should not be here. This is for another slide. Most of Operation Midnight Climax experiments took place in San Francisco and in Marin County, California, and in New York City. The program had little oversight, and CIA agents involved often admitted that it was freewheeling party-like atmosphere. So back in the good old days, we got paid to be voyeurs. Now we get in trouble. Lame. This is a meme that's more about like 80s, 90s stuff, but I just felt like it fit. I found this on the internet. I didn't make this. You can see the iFunny logo, which is embarrassing for me. But, yeah. Back in the good old days, we got paid to be voyeurs. That's fucking funny. The CIA is just a fraternity that's gone too far. I hope someone clipped that. I'm trying to be better about, like, highlights and clips and stuff, but it's a lot. iFunny has done more than this nation than the government. iFunny has brought people together more than any politician, and also ripped people apart. Isn't there like some not good things on there? I think, I don't know. Okay, so I'm a little bit I'm feeling this alcohol. I'm gonna be honest too. So you know who I want to talk to? I want to talk to the sex workers that were there, the prostitutes that got hired by the CIA. I would love to interview them and find out their perspective on this event. I would give anything to talk to them. So, if you could interview the sex workers that were hired by the CIA in Operation Midnight Climax, what would you ask them? What questions would you ask them? I would be like, did you know about the LSD? Yeah, someone said, did you know what's going on? I'm assuming they knew about the LSD because, like, you can tell when someone's on something. I'd be like, did you know about the two-way mirrors? And sorry if I'm the one telling you. And then I'd also be like, did the CIA guys ever, like, try and, and did they? And one, are you a victim? I'm very sorry. Like, what was your experience, Those would be really my questions. iFunny do be contributing to the alt-right pipeline. See, we can have nothing good in this world. As a Bama Rush bitch. Oh, shit. Oh, man. So, did they warn you before about the drugs? Did you get free drugs? How was the sex, though? Did you know they were top dogs running this? Did you get any kind of compensation, and are you okay? Yeah, that's a very good question. Did they provide you any benefits? And I wonder, like, was it like a full-time thing? Was it like, oh, we use the same people every single night, and like those are our people and they know what's up? Or was it like we just pick a random woman off the street every night and pay her cash for the night? Like, I have so many questions about this specifically. I wonder if they tried to fuck with the people on drugs or if they even knew how to handle it. Did you know you were being recorded? That's a good question. Did they know they were being recorded? Did you get paid, and was it worth it? Yeah, I wonder if it was like a full-time job or like a one-night thing or like a contract. There's no way they got a W-2. I'll tell you that much. Do you know what happened to the tapes? That's another good question. I would ask the CIA agents that. I feel like that'd be... Who would know? What was the hiring process? Would you like therapy? Did any of the drug people hurt you? Did they provide housing? Yeah. How do they pay for this? The government has unlimited money, essentially. Like, if they did pay for it, did they document it? No. Like, one of the earlier things, like, said, like, they notoriously, this group did not keep good documentation of anything. So, like, they used government money for it. They used taxpayer money, but they didn't really do a good job writing it down, I guess. Please tell me you guys know what this is from, the CIA, when you ask them about the drugs and the brothels. Hey, you want to do some drugs, make some money, see me at midnight, Climax 11:30. Oh my god, I'm so glad people know what this Vine is. Yes, it's the Vine nut. I want her to be on TikTok so bad. This Vine, she goes, I was crazy back then. Or she's like, I honestly don't remember. I was probably fucked up. I was crazy back then. Top tier meme work. I fucking love that you guys are my target audience. I love that y'all always get these. I'm gonna drink more. I was pretty fucked up. I was crazy back then. I can just... Does anyone have the link for the Nearpod? Morgan Ashley? I do. Thanks for coming. Like, I can just imagine you asking one of the CIA agents this and them being so dismissive and being like, oh my god. That was a crazy year for everybody. I don't even remember. Like, we were all doing it. Like... This is blurry as fuck, but this is a actual CIA document. You ask a CIA agent and they shoot you on scene. You're like, hey, have you heard of MK? And they're like, did you have a question? Did you have a question? I haven't heard of anything. Look how red I am. Look how red my face is. Whatever. OMG info. As payment for their services, the sex workers received small amounts of cash as well as a guarantee from White that he'd intercede when the women inevitably had run-ins with law enforcement in the future. Thank you, Jessica. Oh, so they got cash and protection from the law. Have you ever heard of MKUltra as their trigger phrase? Someone in my family just joined the military. I'm going to ask him if he knows about this. I don't think he's going to want to be my friend if he sees these. That's T, they got protection. Honestly, like, for the time, that's better than I expected, to be honest. Here's $13. Hit me up if the cops get you. It's like, here's $13 and my phone number. Call me if you need me. But this is, I honestly doubt they got the protection part. I can 100% see them leaving this movie without the protection. Yeah, you're probably right. They probably gave him like a fake number or like a fake name. They're like, ask for this guy and you'll be fine. And then it was like not even a thing. Probably. CIA. Trash. Trash. All men. Trash. So this is basically the document like approving the project. Project MKUltra is being set up as a means to continue to present work in the field of LSD until this date, and then it got extended, yada, 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 whatever. So this is the official document and approved. It kind of got cut off, but you can see there's the chief guy down there at the bottom. They gave women that John Cena number. Ask for Jimmy Hoffa. Oh my God. Okay, so it gets weirder somehow. I know you're like, Miss Redacted, how could this possibly get weirder? It does get weirder. Call and ask for, I'm not going to say it. I'm a teacher. I know all of them. He'll take care of you. So the Office of Security used LSD in interrogations. The chemist who directed the project had other ideas. He believed it could also be used in covert operations. Sorry. Since its effects were temporary, he believed it could be given to high-ranking officials and affect the course of important meetings, speeches, etc. He realized there was a difference in the testing of a drug in a laboratory and using it in clandestine operations. He initiated a series of experiments where LSD was given to people in normal settings without warnings. At first, everyone in technical services tried it. A typical experiment involved two people in a room where they observed each other for hours and took notes. As the experimentation progressed, a point arrived where outsiders were drugged with no explanation whatsoever on surprise acid trips. Became something of an occupational hazard among CIA ops. Adverse reactions often occurred, such as an operative who received the drug in his morning coffee and became psychotic, ran across Washington seeing a monster in every car after him. Imagine the little fucking joy you have left in this life. Your morning coffee. You're sitting at your desk, like, fuck this fucking job. I'm at the CIA. I want to fucking kill myself. I'm wearing a tie right now, and it's the 1950s. You take a sip of your coffee, and you get fucking dosed with LSD at 8 a.m. on, like, a Wednesday. Do you have your sources? I want to read more. Email me. I used the Wikipedia article, a history.com article, an NPR article, and then an interview with someone whose relative experienced this. So email you and I'm happy to send you everything, but that's where my sources were. Okay, so some subjects' participation was consensual. In these cases, they appeared singled out for even more extreme experiments. In one case, seven volunteers in Kentucky were given LSD for 77 consecutive days. 2 CIA agents stripping and staring at each other in a blank room sounds like a great way to study the effects. That sounds awful. That sounds terrifying. I'm sure people tried to kill each other. That's why I say I'd burn the whole government down if they dosed me. No, literally. Yeah, because 2 people high on LSD are going to be great at documenting the effects of LSD. Now I'm starting to see why this part of the government didn't take good notes and was not good at documenting things. Because they were all on drugs all the time. How would you possibly take comprehensive notes on the effects of drugs if you are also on the drugs? It's like Russian roulette, but with LSD. It's like, oh, which coffee pot did Mike today? Caffeinated or decaf? Maybe we put it in the creamer. You'll never know. I can't imagine the come down. It's interesting that the LSD you have to double the dose the day before to feel the same effects of the dose of the day prior. Is that true? Was it 7 days or 7? Oh, it was 77. Yeah, 77 days is a lot. The government was run by a bunch of fucking idiots. Holy shit. Imagine you're the intern there. No, literally, imagine if you're the secretary there. You're just at your desk and you're like, girl, what? What the fuck are y'all doing? They spin a wheel to decide whose coffee to chug. They have one of those giant pinwheels and they just, every morning they do it 3 or 4 times to see who it's going to be that day. Some random dude probably never got drugs simply by chance. They just always picked the wrong coffee pot. Probably. Are they lucky or are they not? That's the real question. The office prank, dosing each other with LSD. That's not okay that this happened. So, if you were the new guy in the CIA and they gave you LSD without your consent, what would you do? If you want to vote in Nearpod, or you can just put it in the chat. Jim puts LSD in Dwight's coffee. That's a very Jim thing to do. But yeah, if you want to vote in this, there's the Nearpod. I'll give you a second to join. But if you were a new guy, would you party, report them to the police, or I would pick C. Be like, hey dude, love that you guys get down like that, but it's not really for me, so if you could not give me LSD, that would be dope. Or D, keep your mouth shut because you do not fuck with the CIA like that. So, you got 2 minutes if you want to vote in this. I'll catch up with the chat and whatevs. I love seeing the names in here. Quarter Life Crisis, Slay Girl Boss, Lena. We love, we stand. We appreciate all the things. Hey John, what's that? No, I didn't put LSD in your coffee. Drink up. You're fine. Everything's fine. And you are fine. And we are all fine. The new CIA employee. Why are there 2 things of coffee creamer? Other employees, I'll do my dosing on my own time, thanks. C or D, hear no evil, see no evil. I would definitely go with C. I'd be like, that's just not my vibe. I'm also I'm very stubborn, and it's to me, it's not scary to tell someone I want to do something. If I don't want to do something, I'm not going to do it. That's something I've always been a little too comfortable doing, if you get what I'm saying. But yeah. We have these cool new multicolored sugar squares. Pop one in, have a blast. No way this was a part of the orientation. No, literally. They're like, here's your badge. This is where you park. Also, we give each other LSD a lot. Hope everyone is cool with that. They didn't let anyone know, heads up. Here's some pink sugar. It tastes like strawberries. You're going to have a great time. As a new guy, I don't have rights to anything. Probably missing the next day. I'd have to party in order to not have a full trip. There's a mandatory 4-week minimum. Simply do not eat or drink at work. I'm packing my lunch. I, for one, will be packing my lunch every day. Imagine they made you drug test for the job. I bet they do. I know now they do. I don't know about back then, but they were like, hey, we got the results of your drug test. You passed. You've never taken drugs. And today's the day. Today's the day that you start. Your LSD levels are looking a little low. Time for some more. And also, imagine if this was any other job. Like, imagine if this happened today, and imagine if this happened for any other employer. So the CIA invented roofies. No, I think roofies are a specific pill. I don't think the CIA invented that. I don't know. This is a great way to prevent people from eating your lunch in the communal fridge. Do you mean like it's a great way to prevent people eating your lunch because there's no LSD in it, or because there is LSD? Oh my god, I'm literally about to cry. This is so funny. It's like not funny, but it's a little funny, as always. I'm trying to picture this at my county parks and rec department, and I just can't. I'm trying to picture it, and I can, is the disturbing part. Imagine if it was a different government doing it. The U.S. government would go wild. Bro, if another government did this, they would get nuked immediately. The U.S. government would not hesitate. They'd be like, oh, you're nuked. We killed ya. We killed ya. No drugs. Bad, 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 bad. Pawnee, Indiana, x MKUltra. I was going to make a terrible joke, but then let me explain it before I make it. I mean the cast of this show, but obviously not the children. Obviously not the children. I mean, obviously not the children. But imagine an MKUltra edition of Abbott Elementary. Like, the staff of Abbott Elementary gets MKUltra'd. I'm going to turn that into a verb, getting MKUltra'd. That's when the government gives you something without your consent. It's when the government gives you a substance without your consent, MKUltra'd. That's like, we're all getting MKUltra'd by the government because there's microplastics in our water, and our government's not doing anything to stop it. Just so you guys know. Like, not to be a Debbie Downer, but just so you know, we're all getting MKUltra'd by the government with microplastics. Gonna MKUltra my fast food job. Oh my god. That McDonald's line is about to be wrapping around the block. Around the block. The city of Philadelphia. That after-school special where Helen Hunt takes angel dust and jumps out of the window. I have no idea what you're talking about, but I need to watch it right now. There's a Grey's Anatomy episode where they accidentally eat weed brownies. Getting MKUltra is a lot worse than that, but that would also be a funny episode of Abbott Elementary. Okay, so other terrifying / weird info about the program. Another technique investigated was the administration of barbiturate in one arm and amphetamine into the other, and the blah 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 was released into the person first. As soon as the person began to fall asleep, the amphetamines were released. Other experiments involved heroin, morphine, a bunch of other drugs that I can't say because I'm not a chemist. Microplastic memes are so funny, even though it's a serious problem and I shouldn't be laughing. I know, I always laugh at the microplastic memes, but no, it's not funny at the end of the day. I love a good microplastic meme. It's like, if we can't joke about us getting poisoned by the government, what do we have left in this life? You know what I mean? Like, I think I deserve the right to that, if anything. Declassified MKUltra documents also indicate they studied hypnosis in the early 1950s, experimental goals in creating hypnotically induced anxieties. Maybe that's why I'm this way. Gentle FYI, government still sucks. Love that for us. Miss one, that was the perfect first time chat, because they definitely fucking do. Microplastics. Oh my god, the mic. The mic emote plastics. I'm like 3% plastic at this point. It's honestly kind of cool. When I was a little kid, I used to put my forehead against the microwave and watch my food spin around. That can't be good, right? I also used to chew on Polly Pocket clothes. I'm going to turn my dryer off because it's going to keep doing that and it's going to piss me off. So I'm going to give you like 2 seconds to entertain yourself while I turn the dryer off. So give me a moment. Peace and love. Oh my god, 3 people left? Have you no patience? I did the same thing with the microwave. I honestly think it's why I can't do math now. I couldn't do math for a while. I can do math now, but for a while, it was and go. You know what I mean? I literally have a little plastic tube inside of me at all times for the past 15 years. I don't even know what percentage plastic I am. Is that a Smirnoff Ice? Please say yes. Absolutely it is. It is a pink lemonade Smirnoff Ice. I hated math. Now I like math. I like algebra. Love algebra. You know what I mean? Best ice flavor? I don't have a fave. I'm a truly lemonade gal. Oh my god, the Helen Hunt video. Thank you, Michael Jordan's toupee. Appreciate. Okay. Where were we? They wanted to create hypnotically induced anxieties. Maybe this is why I have anxiety. Am I a victim? Hypnotically increase the ability to learn and recall complex written matter. Honestly, I'm down. Studying hypnosis and polygraph examination, hypnotically increasing the ability to observe and recall complex arrangements of physical objects, studying the relationship of personality to susceptibility to hypnosis. They conducted experiments with drug-induced hypnosis with anterograde and retrograde amnesia while under the influence of drugs. Is that what happens when you're drunk? Y'all, I just got an email from Nat Geo about microplastics. Uh-oh. I had 4 Smirnoff Ices on Monday, and I could only talk in a small voice. They're listening. They are listening. I trust Nat Geo. Do we? Do we trust Nat Geo? They've probably done something terrible. So, in areas under American control as early as the 1950s in Europe and East Asia, mostly Japan, Germany, and the Philippines, the CIA created secret detention centers so that the U.S. could avoid criminal prosecution. The CIA captured people suspected of being enemy agents and other people it deemed to be expendable to undertake various types of torture and human experimentation on them. The prisoners were interrogated while being administered psychoactive drugs, electroshocked, and subjected to extreme temperatures, sensory isolation, and the like to develop a better understanding of how to destroy and control human minds. So like I told you, whatever you were thinking, it's actually worse. Expendable, yeah, it was like the U.S. government defining people as expendable, right? That's quite the red flag. That is quite the red flag. And I thought black sites were a new invention. Quite the red flag, the use of the word expendable. It was like enemies and like POWs and people like that, which is like, who knows who those people are? They probably didn't, they could have been nice people. We don't know their backstory. I'm very shook in this moment, right? Let's just sit on that for a while before we get to Ken Kensi. Let's just sit on that. Let's sit on this information. I'm very shook. I am also very shook, but I'm usually shook. Makes you wonder what the government has been doing that hasn't been released in the future, because there's something. Miss Rex 1, I think about that almost every day, because we read about all this crazy shit that happened back then, but the government has more money now and more power now and more technology now. But also there's the internet, which gives them less of an ability to hide things. They still have the ability to hide things, but I think the internet's made it a lot harder. And I always think about like when I'm like 70 or 80, will I make it that far? Probably not because of climate change. But anyway, when I'm like older, am I going to be like, damn, all of these things were like happening when I was like in my 20s and I just had no idea. Watch 5G conspiracy theories be real. This army. Bro, like that's like, I don't know. There's a lot of conspiracy theories that are obviously fake, but like a lot of things that ended up being true, they used to be called conspiracy theories. You know what I mean? Mom, pick me up. I'm scared. I'm always scared. Whenever we're talking about the U.S. government, I'm scared. Let's talk about Casey, I don't really know how to say his name. Our kids are going to be like, did you hear about this when you were 25? And we're going to be like, sorry, what happened? No, literally, like, what's going to be the credit scores of our kids' generation? Like, we're mad at our parents over credit scores and, like, them letting the U.S. government get away with that shit. What's going to be the thing that our kids are like, how the fuck did you let that happen? And we're going to be like, damn. I was on Twitter. I didn't know. Like, the insurrection. I already had to explain that to a bunch of 11th graders. I really don't want to have to explain it to a bunch of my children. Probably the global pandemic. I do be forgetting about that one. Sometimes. This could come out now with 100% fact and evidence, and everyone would be like, fake news. I low-key think they will think vax cards are wild and vax mandates. I don't know. I could see that go either way. I could see them being like, oh, it's crazy that they had to mandate it and people didn't just do it. Or I could see them being like, it's crazy that it didn't used to be mandated. Or I could see them being thinking it's crazy that it was. Like, I have no idea. Just the whole handling of the pandemic. The CIA had a room with a table and something specific on the table. Say a copy of Time magazine open to page 12, 3,000 miles away They have someone trying to see in the room 3,000 miles away that was spent on the table. Basically, ESP, they spent $25 million on the program. They have unlimited money. I'm telling you, when it comes to doing shit that they want to do, they have unlimited funds. So Ken Kesey, he was actually one of the volunteers for MKUltra. When he was a college student at Stanford University, like, I'm fucking down. He was like, honestly, I'm down. Like, let me try it. I watched the insurrection happen on Twitter, and I'm going to have to explain that to future generations. No, literally. People from the 40s are shocked we have to mandate vaccines because they were so grateful for them. Yeah, it's like, history's crazy, man. Okay, but Ken Kesey, this is him on the right. I would hang out with him. He looks cool. He was a volunteer for MKUltra. Like, he was one of the people that was like, I'm 100% down. Also, let me make this, like, stop because the little thingy was bothering me. Go. He was one of the volunteers, so consensually took the LSD. And then he later went on to promote the drug and held LSD-fueled parties that he called acid test. And the acid test combined drug use with musical performances by bands including the Grateful Dead, and psychedelic effects such as fluorescent paint and black lights. And these parties influenced the early developments of hippie culture and kick-started the psychedelic drug scene of the 1960s. Which is crazy. The government literally caused this. Like, in the 1970s when they were, or in the 1960s and 70s when they were like, the war on drugs, they started it. They literally started the drugs. I watched the insurrection from work at a tanning salon. Oh my God. I think about when my students eventually won't remember the pandemic. It'll be like when my teachers realized I didn't remember 9/11. Oh, that's so true. Oh my God. So I was talking about that at work, like when I was a teacher. The fact that I didn't really remember 9/11 very well. Like, I have a few memories. I was like 3. And there's a few things I remember people talking about it, like from like very vaguely, but I don't remember anything really. And everyone was like shocked that I was like teaching 9/11, and I personally didn't really remember it that well. Everyone was very upset about it. Okay, but like, what was his major? I don't know. Let's look it up. What was Ken Kesey's major? What did Ken Kesey study? No, not in the fucking thing. Like, in college. Ken Kesey education. No, not what I wanted. We're gonna find this. I like can't really use my computer like normal, because my mic is in the way, so my hand is like sideways, which is why I'm having trouble clicking things. Creative writing. Graduate Fellowship of Creative Writing. Of course he was a creative writing major. The teacher, oh my God, sorry. I'm so behind in the chat. Y'all are having a whole conversation without me. Let me focus and catch up. Sorry. I love your pink Google. Thank you. I was like 5 months old during 9/11. This army. I was 3, 4, something like that. I wonder what things from pre-pandemic life are going to be inconceivable ideas to the new generations. I turned to like 3 weeks before it happened. My teachers always said we were the first class they had where no one remembered it. Class of 2017. Oh, interesting. He was at Stanford. The standards are higher now, but he had to have been smart, right? Yeah, I would assume so. I think you kind of had to be to go to Stanford, or rich, I guess, maybe both. I'm going to want to open his mind. It was going to open his mind to make him a better writer. Yeah, he was down from the jump. You can see it in his face. Who would win? The war on drugs with the full force of the government, or some guy who named Ken who volunteered to take LSD for the government when he was in college? Literally, like, he started the psychedelic movement with his parties. Like, he was like the OG of the psychedelic movement because he got it from the source, straight from the source being the American government. Good old Uncle Sam, the American government of the United States. So more notable participants. This is kind of the most batshit crazy part. If you're here for just joining, welcome. This is really wild because some of these people are criminals. Yay. So Robert Hunter, he was best known for his association with the Grateful Dead. He was an early volunteer of MKUltra. So Ken Kesey, who would have the Grateful Dead, play at his parties. Both of these guys took the fucking LSD and MKUltra, and these experiences were what is described as creatively formative. There was a really long quote from him about how like doing the government's LSD made him into the singer or the writer he is today, whatever, but it was like super long and very convoluted, so I didn't include it. That's wild, the government getting mad is like a parent being mad for drinking alcohol they gave you. No, literally, he capitalized on a government experiment. Imagine seeing your lab rat popularize LSD. Literally, the government was so mad about this. And then American poet Allen Ginsberg also took LSD at Stanford, where he was like allowed to listen to whatever he wanted. So he had like different audios playing, I guess. He girl bossed MKUltra. He said, this is a business opportunity. Maybe if you had a fucking business that you were passionate about, you would know what it takes to run a fucking business. But you don't. Oh my God, I'm glad someone got to the Unabomber part. Okay, so back to Allen Ginsberg. He was a guy that took the LSD. He was listening to all of his stuff, and this is how he described it. He said, a slight paranoia that hung on to all my acid experiences through the mid-1960s until I learned from meditation how to disperse that. And then he became an outspoken advocate for psychedelics. And after hearing suspicions that the experiment was CIA funded, you see, a lot of people, they didn't know that the CIA was funding it. They were doing it at their school, and they didn't know that the CIA was paying the school. And some of the scientists didn't even know the CIA was paying the school. And some of the schools didn't know because they used front organizations. But anyway, he wrote this poem, Am I, Allen Ginsberg, the product of one of the CIA's lamentable, ill-advised, or triumphantly successful experiments with mind control? And then also Boston mobster, I don't really know this guy, James Whitey Bulger, alleged that he had been subjected to weekly injections of LSD while he was in prison in Atlanta in 1957. Someone talking about Allen Ginsberg in this chat is saying organizations that I don't know what they are. I thought the Stanford was paying them to do drugs. They just thought Stanford was paying them to do drugs. I don't blame them. Yeah. Like, honestly, college campuses do experiments all the time where you get like $20. Imagine a sign on a dorm room bulletin board, free LSD on the floor 3 lounge, not affiliated with the CIA at all. Bring a friend. It's like, we're super chill and not weird at all. Come on in. The U.S. government literally created so many problems down the line. The hippie movement, the Unabomber. And then Ted Kaczynski, who is the Unabomber, was also said to be a subject of this psychological study, alleged by some sources to have been a part of MKUltra. This one there's less proof about, but as a sophomore at Harvard, he participated in a study described as purposely brutalizing psychological experiment, which was led by Henry Murray, and in total he spent 200 hours a part of the study. So there's like not that much documentation about like what the fuck was going on there, but he was a part of the study during this time at a school that was getting money about this, and it was like psychological. Yeah, and then Lawrence Teeter, who was an attorney for Sharon, who was convicted of murdering Robert F. Kennedy and believed that this guy was also operating under MKUltra mind control techniques to murder Robert Kennedy. So crazy. The government accidentally creating LSD subculture because they wanted mind control the communist. Brutal out here. Tea. It is tea. Like, all these problems is actually MKUltra victims. Surprise! My hair looks really brown right now because it's kind of wet. It feels so good that it's clean, though. I haven't washed it in a couple days. Okay. So, would you party with the participants/victims of MKUltra? I'm talking about all the people that were, like, tried LSD and then started doing the LSD parties. Like Ken Casey, those kind of people. The people that tried it here and were like, I'm down. I'm here for it. The CIA and the Kennedys, a whole fucking thing. If you want to vote in this poll, let me send you the Nearpod. Sorry. I got you. We still have a minute. Were they getting the LSD after the government cut? I don't know, actually. Immediately no. I've seen what I needed to see. Oh, I'm glad someone answered someone's question about the Unabomber because I didn't know. No, I wouldn't party with the Unabomber. No, I'm talking about the people that are not the Unabomber. The people that had the LSD parties later. I couldn't. I'm not a partier. I hate crowds. I hate people. I want to be in my house. In my peaceful area. Me, myself, and I. Should I get McDonald's tonight? I haven't eaten dinner. I ate these chips beforehand. I still have some more. I don't know anything about the Unabomber. Maybe I should do another stream on that. What's your order? Okay, so my McDonald's order. I have a few different ones. Sorry. 10-piece nugget, spicy nugget if they have it. Love the spicy nuggets. I also like the spicy chicken sandwich. That's a good order for me. If I'm in the mood for like burger, quarter pounder with cheese. And sometimes, this is like really weird that I do this. A lot of people make fun of me. Sometimes I'll get a quarter pounder, just the quarter pounder, not the meal, and then I'll get a 6-piece nugget instead of fries. Remember the chicken selects? We used to be a proper country. I muted myself to check. Honestly, the government could probably get me to do LSD if they promised to forgive my student loans. Get McDonald's fries and an M&M McFlurry. Bro, those were good. The snack wraps, I miss the snack wraps so much. Oh, Kaczynski was unknowingly involved in an experiment designed to psychologically break someone down, wrote a paper for the study, and got his shit utterly wrecked by the person doing the study, literally screaming in his face for hours, telling him it was useless, etc. That would fuck you up. Yo, the quarter pounder with nuggets instead of fries is the best. I'm glad y'all are agreeing with me because so many of my friends think I'm so weird for this. Allegedly, student loans are getting canceled for real. That's what my boyfriend said to me. That's literally like the first thing he said when he opened his eyes this morning. He was like, "Did you see Joe Biden might be canceling student loans?" And I was like, good morning. Literally, though, I got $1 nuggets today. I love chicken nuggets. Okay. I want to know what the fuck happens after the CIA is done with you. So other people were asking this in the chat. Like, where are they getting the LSD after this? Like, are they making it? How did they get it? And then, like, what happens when they're done studying you? Do they just, like, put you outside? Like, where do you go? Oh my God, a Target parking lot in the chat. I'm absolutely fucking dead. I've worked at Target for 3 years. The parking lot is my home now. I'm deceased. Welcome. We're like cousins. You get vaporized. My inside knowledge person told me whose student loans would be extended last month before said it was this morning. Oh, nice. The Unabomber was upset by the defense around his cabinet was trying to fight industrialization. Oh, cool. Everyone needs to get the McDonald's app because it can save you so much money. So how does the McDonald's app work? Like, do you place the order within the app? Like, is that what's happening? Someone explain the McDonald's app process to me. I get really bad about stuff like that. Like using a different form of payment or like ordering something in an app and then picking it, like just doing a process differently. It just like freaks me out a little bit. Oh, like Starbucks? Okay, I can do that. You can pay with a credit card. Cool. I'm afraid the McDonald's app would just know, or give them the code of the McDonald's app. So do you just like give it to them at checkout? Like what is this? I use the code in the drive-thru. Oh, so it's just like a little scanny scan. Oh, cool. Pick a deal and then the code they give you, and then use a code they give you at the drive-thru. Okay, thank you. I love that you explained it to me. Give it when you order. When I was a little kid, I had really bad social anxiety. Well, I still have really bad anxiety. And like, if I was going to go somewhere for like a social event, and I had never been there, I would make my mom take me before. Like if I was going to go to a roller rink for a party, I'd be like, we're going the weekend before so I can see what's up. And she would always oblige and take me. You get a $1 large fry every day. I cannot download this app. Okay. So we're going to talk about Frank Olson. Frank Olson passed away. He was a scientist who worked for the CIA in a retreat. I want to know what the CIA retreats are like. Where do they go? What do they do? Why are they going on a retreat? No, not Frank Ocean, Frank Olson. Frank Olson, oh my God, someone talking about my therapist. Okay, let me focus. At a 1953 CIA retreat, Olson drank a cocktail that had been secretly spiked with LSD. A few days later, on November 28th, 1953, Olson tumbled to his death from the window of a New York City hotel room in an alleged suicide. The family of Frank Olson decided to have a second autopsy performed in 1994. Oh my God, I didn't realize you could do an autopsy that many years later. Shit. Way later. Oh no, the office prank killed someone. No, literally. So they did the second autopsy, and the forensics team found injuries on the body that occurred before the fall, and the findings sparked conspiracy theories that Olson might have been assassinated by the CIA, and the experimentation with LSD continued even after this event. After prolonged legal proceedings, the family was awarded a settlement of $750,000 and received a personal apology from Gerald Ford and the CIA director. Tumbled his way to death. That's an interesting way of saying someone shoved his house out a window. I didn't even pick up on that. When you can't hang at the company retreat. This is literally batshit crazy. The word tumbled is a dead giveaway for a covered up. I literally because I like to kind of learn with you all. So I just copy and paste it and read it, but not for detail, if that makes sense. Just for clarity and make sure everything makes sense. I didn't realize it said tumbled. I just saw death from a window and I was like, okay. Tumbled. The company retreat. Canoeing at the CIA retreat. Y'all think there's ever any action at the CIA retreats? Do you think there's ever just the dudes are in the hot tub and they have a homie moment? A homie, you're with your homies, A broing moment. They're in the hot tub, but they're not 5 feet apart, if you know what I'm saying. Gerald Ford, OMG, I'm so sorry the CIA murdered your husband and dad. Oh, that sucks. The CIA murdered your husband? That is literally so tough. What if we made s'mores and sing campfire songs at the CIA retreat? I think there's never not action. What would you do if I asked you to cuddle and you were my roommate at the CIA retreat? What would you do if we were both CIA agents and I asked you to cuddle at the retreat? 2 bros chilling in a hot tub, found love on a CIA retreat. They do drugs and bring ladies. Do you think the CIA agents have explored each other's bodies? Rolling with the homies. The CIA gave us LSD for our CIA wedding. Well, this is the first I'm hearing about this. Gerald Ford. Gerald Ford is literally me when I was a teacher, and administrators would be like, students did this in your classroom. I would just play stupid. I'd be like, they did what? I would never allow that. I would never let them do that. You think I would allow that? You're crazy for believing them, because you're wrong. When he knows your preferred dose, do you think they had a condom? CIA Mission 1, investigate each other's bodies. Oh my God. Well, the CIA does have a place where they used to waterboard recruits during training. Oh my God. Bro, if a job ever tries to waterboard you, it's not worth the money. CIA Jungle Juice go crazy. Literally matching sweatsuits. Bro, imagine you're at the CIA retreat and everyone pulls up in these matching shorts. They all have these, but they say the CIA. Imagine they have matching CIA tracksuits. I don't know if you could hear me, but I was saying that imagine you pull up to the CIA retreat and everyone's wearing these shorts, and on the back, it just, on the butt, instead of juicy, it just says the CIA. I would wear that. Can that be your merch? But in sparkly letters. I can't put just the CIA because then it's going to look like I'm pro CIA. Brainstorm with me. What can we put? The CIA is a gang. Like the intro to Bring It On. The CIA retreat of Regina George. The Regina George of the CIA retreat. It's like That's Carl. You have to respect Carl because Carl's like the king of the group. And like if Carl insults somebody, then we all pile on because we all just live and we want to be Carl. Like imagine the Regina George of the CIA. Crazy. War criminal. Does the CIA have a spirit stick for the retreat? Carl's hair is so big because it's full of secrets. Oh my god. Rest in peace to Frank Olson, though. That really sucked that he got secretly drugged and then his death was definitely shady. Some stuff happened there. So, destruction of records and public awareness of MKUltra. So basically, right after Watergate, the CIA director was like, shut it down. Shut it down. After Watergate, they were like, burn all this shit right now. So the US government got rid of a ton of fucking records in 1973. Keep in mind, MKUltra ended in 1963. So it's been 10 years, but they were still like, ooh, remember before Carl retired, he told us all those stories about that thing? Let's delete that shit right now. Let's delete that shit right now because I wasn't there for that, but let's delete that shit right now. And then the people that were there for that were like, we didn't write that much down, but definitely delete that shit right now. MKUltra sounds like a pre-workout that underage tweens take. Oh my god. And thanks for the follows. This me and Jeremy Skull. The CIA does have a secret gift shop behind it on Mark Door at the headquarters. Not secret anymore. I love this chat. This chat is my safe space. Oh my god. Watergate had my mom shook the house when it broke. I kind of want to do a thing about Watergate. Oh, I can't breathe. Okay. So, in 1974, the New York Times alleged that the CIA had conducted illegal domestic activities literally the year after they burned everything, LMAO. The New York Times was like, hey, the CIA is doing some illegal shit in the 1960s, and then that report prompted an investigation by Congress in the form of the Church Committee. This was by a commission known as the Rockefeller Commission that looked into the illegal domestic activities of the CIA, the FBI, and intelligence-related agencies of the military. I keep burping. Of the military. Okay. Please do one on Watergate. The CIA is a frat and MKUltra is their cheap beer of choice. I know the merch that I should design. Holy shit. I should make shirts and it's like gonna look like a generic beer and it's gonna say MKUltra as the beer. Like it'll just look like a cheap beer, but the label will say MKUltra. And it's going to say, I'm rushing CIA in the fall. I'm so excited. Baron Wormock, you can absolutely design a mock-up and email it to me. Make the beer label tie-dye too. I'm going to post my email right now. Oh, I have never, ever been even remotely excited about merch. Merch to me has always felt weird and capitalistic and narcissistic and just weird. But making merch that says I'm rushing CIA in fall, that's hilarious. And then maybe on the back we can put the CIA as a fraternity that took it too far. Oh my god. Boyfriend, if you're here, get on this. Call somebody. I don't know. You're in charge of the money part of this. Okay, so the government made this committee and was like, hey, we're going to look into this because this is really sketchy. So the CIA destroying MKUltra records in 1973. Custom ink as we speak. My dad once interviewed for a job at the CIA. Glad he didn't take it. I applied for a job at the CIA. Let me tell you, holy shit. I got this job on my LinkedIn the other day. I still had like the job alerts set up from when I was looking at a job, and I got this job. This shit was fucking terrifying to me. I wasn't going to talk about it on the internet because I didn't want the CIA to like attack me. But actually not CIA, it was the FBI. I didn't want the FBI to like attack me, but like they posted it on LinkedIn. So like if you're not okay with me talking about it, why it's on the internet, you know what I mean? But anyway, it was this job for the FBI, and it was like FBI agent position. It had an 18-month training program. You had to like go to DC for the training program. You had to pass all these background checks, drug tests, all this shit. And it was an education job. And it said that part of the field work would be teaching and that you needed to have public education experience. Isn't that weird? I wanted to apply just to see. But then I realized it would look me up online and be like, immediately no. Immediately no. Like, they'd look me up and be like, immediately, we're not picking you. It didn't say teaching what to. It didn't say teaching what to who or where or anything. All it said was like classroom teaching experience required. Undercover opportunity. Yeah, that's what's like, why is that person going undercover? Isn't that weird? I don't like that. That's the sketchiest thing I've heard of in my life. Let me catch up with the chat. Old Standards chair of my sorority did an FBI internship and got a job there, tried giving us this big speech and cried because the government asked her if she was friends with any drug users and she had to say yes because her sisters did drugs. That is so lame. The government is so lame. Time for some investigative journalism. Like, I literally wanted to apply just to do it and be like, what are y'all doing? Like, I wanted to apply just to find out, but 18 months is a long time to train. The FBI must be pretty desperate if they're recruiting on LinkedIn. Well, LinkedIn also pulls from other places. So I bet LinkedIn pulled it from like the government's website or whatever. There was an FBI recruitment poster at my college that said you couldn't have sold drugs for profit, like wholesale was cool, bro. Because it seems sketchy to be posted on LinkedIn. No, I found the link to the like actual government website with the fucking job shit. It was crazy. This was like over a month ago though, so it's probably taken down by now. But I just wanted to tell you because it was crazy. Okay, so the Church Committee investigates. In the summer of 1975, the Congressional Church Committee reports and the Presidential Rockefeller Commission report revealed to the public for the first time, so this is when the public found out about it, that the CIA and the Department of Defense had conducted experiments on unwitting, cognizant human beings as a part of an extensive program to find how to influence and control human behavior through the psychoactive drugs such as LSD, and it also revealed that Frank Olson had died after the administration of LSD, and that's the one subject that we know of dying. I'm sure there was like hella more. Someone found it. Teachers looking for a new job. Try the FBI. Special agent, education, teaching background. Yeah, see? They're still accepting applicants. The pay is not bad. Permanent, must work a minimum of 50-hour work week. See? Special agent, teaching, education background. I'm not tripping. I'm not crazy. Someone apply and tell us what it is. Someone take the job and then tell us what's going on. Thanks. I'll talk about it. The pop-up of USA jobs gave me PTSD of my dad looking for government jobs. I'm sorry. Trigger warning, USA jobs. I wonder if it's like a daycare preschool for their kids. LMAO. I don't know. But like, they wouldn't be making you do all the agent field work because that's expensive to train somebody and to do all that shit. That's a lot of money and time and energy. You know, so I feel like they wouldn't be doing it unless it was like needed. But maybe, I don't know. They like wasting money, time, and energy. So the convitty, you got to protect their kids. You have to be under 37 according to Reddit, even sketchier. I know there's a lot of rules around those jobs of you being under a certain age so that you can like keep doing the job because they have mandatory retirement ages and shit like that. So it's like, I know that that's a thing, but I don't know. Still weird. So the committee investigating the research concluded that prior consent was obviously not obtained from any of the subjects. The committee noted that the experiments sponsored by these researchers call into question the decision by the agency not to fix guidelines for the experiments. And following the recommendation of the Church Committee, President Gerald Ford issued a first executive order on intelligence activities, which, among other things, prohibited the experimentation with drugs on human subjects except with the informed consent in writing and witnessed with the by a disinterested party of each human subject and in accordance with the guidelines issued by the National Commission, and then more orders that were similar got issued later as well. If it's anything like this CIA training, it's 18 months of LSD. I get to the FBI training and I'm like, oh fuck, this is the FBI, not the CIA. This is not what I thought. I love the line, your methodical and analytical ability to simplify complex material and present it with clear expectations is highly valued by the CIA. Okay. Me finding that the Church Committee was the one to air out the CIA's bullshit. Wait, where's the LSD? Do you guys not bring that out until week 2? I drank a lot of water in preparation for this. I wonder if it's schooling for people who are in the witness protection program. Oh, maybe. That could make sense too. Do I have to bring my own? BYO LSD? To the CIA training? To BYO LSD situation? These chips are good. Okay. So, in 1977, we figured out, holy shit, not all the documents were destroyed. So even after the investigation, they found out more shit. So during 1977, during a hearing held by the Senate Select Committee on Intelligence to look further into MKUltra, they revealed that the CIA had found 20,000 pages that survived the destruction because they had been incorrectly stored. Literally because of incompetence. The CIA creates all of their own problems. Like, they made this problem of drugs, then they tried to cover it up, and they couldn't even manage to cover it up. Like, how do you fail at literally everything? How are you that bad at everything? How? Explain it to me. How are you that bad at everything? Like, I'm glad that they're bad at it and we found out about it, but like, what the fuck? On the Senate floor in 1977, Senator Ted Kennedy said the deputy director of the CIA revealed that over 30 universities and institutions were involved in extensive testing and experimentation program, which include the covert drug test on unwitting citizens at all social levels, high and low, Native Americans and foreign. I think they mean like Native Americans, like people born in the U.S., not like indigenous people of this land. Several of these tests involve the administration of LSD to unwitting subjects in social situations. The CIA itself subsequently acknowledged that these tests had little scientific rationale, and the officers conducting the monitoring were not qualified scientific observers. Literally, because it was a bunch of CIA agents getting drunk and watching dudes on LSD hook up with prostitutes. Like, that's what the whole thing was. It's a whole bunch of mediocre white dudes. Do you think they planted dealers? Who's to say? I would not be surprised. The intern who was supposed to file the 20K documents they found. I know people are scared of the government, but why are there no whistleblowers? If they didn't make any problems, they would be unemployed. That's the real tea. The CIA is like, what problems can we cause that are going to manifest in 10 to 15 years so they can get a bigger budget then? They're thinking in chess. They didn't hire women, so they thought it was someone else's job to burn the docks. They were like, yeah, someone did it. They're like, probably. Here is a document about that joint hearing in 77 about the, Subcommittee on Health and Scientific Resources. It's a problem of compartmentalization. Probably the person who knew where the docks were retired and the position wasn't filled for the file sat there instead of being destroyed. They build their own job security. No, literally. So where are the victims now? I couldn't really find like a comprehensive list of like where everyone is and what they're doing, because obviously they didn't keep records of shit and like everything was just really unprofessional. But I did find this interview with this guy named Lloyd. His mother Esther was a victim. She was actually a victim in Canada, but it was still funded by the CIA, which like why the fuck was the CIA funding this in Canada? But that's neither here nor there. And her hospital records said they gave her all the drugs, 4 or 5 barbiturates and amphetamines at the same time. She also received electroshock therapy. She was in a mental hospital because she was pregnant and she had lost a baby like 2 years prior. So she was having some mental health issues over like guilt and paranoia that it was going to happen again. So she was administered to this facility that her family was like, oh, this is probably the best thing money can buy. Like, this is the highest rated doctor. This is the most famous doctor, whatever. And then she had a really bad time here and was a victim of MKUltra while she was pregnant, and was pregnant with Lloyd, the guy that this interview is about. So she did live. Yeah, she was on this. She was in MKUltra until she was 8 months pregnant. 8. There are rumblings in my family of my grandma's cousin being a part of it, since she was in and out of hospitals and getting electroshock all the time. Yeah, so Esther was in it till she was like 8 months pregnant. Her family didn't really know what she was going on. The part that's really crazy to me is that actually there's like a long story about her that I didn't include, but when I was reading it, it's documented in her records that she was like, this is a bad idea. I should not be taking this many drugs. I'm pregnant. This cannot be good. It's not helping, whatever. She lost a crazy amount of weight. She developed a lot of mental issues because of it later. Like, her memory was basically like nothing. Like, her brain was just super, 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 super fried. And like, she couldn't remember how to boil water. And then when she had the baby, she like didn't know how to take care of it because like her brain had gotten so like messed up off of everything. So it's a wonder she never lost the baby due to this. Yeah, the article didn't really get into this. It said that like he had some health issues, but it's like just not really, they didn't really get into like the medicalness of it. I don't know how she didn't lose this baby either. Like, that's really shocking. But this woman actually did live a pretty long life. She died of cancer in 2017, and she had a relatively, what seemingly looks like a happy and normal old age. So she did end up coming out of it and having her life and stuff, but still terrible, terrible, terrible. Wait, imagine MKUltra getting exposed and finding out you're a victim of it. No, exactly. It's crazy. So the baby is now a man who's 60 years old and semi-retired, living in Toronto, still fighting to be recognized as a victim and get, what is owed and all of that. So hundreds of relatives of loved ones were experimented on and are now demanding compensation. So the CIA being proud of a good day's work after giving dangerous drugs to a pregnant woman without consent when she literally came in for standard medical attention. Freedom intensifies. Do you think they were low-key hoping if they gave her a lot, it would affect the baby in the way they wanted? That's an interesting point, maybe. Have you discussed the Tuskegee experiments? Not on Twitch, but in my class teaching I have. Not super in-depth. I want to learn more about it before I talk about it on here. Live free or die. Make government robot babies like Addison Rae. Do you guys think Addison Rae is a government robot baby? Is that a thing? I can't imagine going in for a 3-month checkup and practically being tortured. No, literally. Interesting. Can't find much, but they would delete it. People joke that she's an industry plant / govbot. Yeah, I can see that joke. Okay, so this bullshit was actually in Canada too. Like that beginning slide said, some of the universities and scientists were in Canada, but it was still being funded by the CIA. They were using front organizations and lots of stuff like that, and they had British people working on the bullshit. In Canada, it was shown on CBC News, and it was learned that not only had the CIA funded this evil doctor who was the one experimenting on that poor pregnant woman, Esther, but also the Canadian government was fully aware of it and had later provided $500,000 in funding to continue the experiments. So the U.S. government started it and was organizing it, but the Canadian government, it's not like they didn't know about it, and it's not like they were against it. They even chipped in a little bit. The revelation largely derailed efforts by the victims to sue the CIA, as their U.S. counterparts in the Canadian government eventually settled out of court for $100,000 to each of the 127 victims. And then Dr. Cameron, the Canadian doctor, or I don't know if he's Canadian, but the doctor in Canada that was doing this shit, died in 1967 after he had a heart attack, and none of his records of his involvement with MKUltra survives. His family destroyed them after his death. If your relative did a fucked up thing, the least you can do to make amends is to provide the documentation to me. The least you can do is be like, here's what they did, I'm really sorry. Here's everything that happened so we can deal with it now and hold everybody accountable and whatever. Are we surprised that Canada is involved? I want to see people's thoughts on this. I'd snitch so fast if my relative was a piece of shit. Bro, me too. There's the Nearpod if you want to vote in this, but I want to see our thoughts on this. We have shocked, and then other option is nah, because Canada is like that kid in high school that seems super pure, actually gets down like that, or actually does coke with 25-year-olds every weekend, is what I wrote. And that is not surprised at all. Canada is America with a Gucci belt. Interesting. I'm not saying you're wrong. I've just never thought of it that way. To be honest, I don't know nearly enough about Canada. Yeah, I always thought Canada was a magical place where everyone had health care. But the more I've learned about it, I'm y'all are kind of down bad the way we are. Like, y'all are kind of on the same bullshit as the United States. Canada is like the one sibling that can't do wrong in their parents' eyes, but is a literal menace. Oh my God. Canada seems like America with better PR to me. Yeah. Canada has secrets of their own. They're guilty AF. That's what I mean. Like, I feel like Canada has skeletons in their closet. Like, on the highest of keys, Canada has skeletons in their closet. Canada is America with baggy jeans. Also, the game's coming soon. I tried to make the game less hard. Canada also has residential schools. Yeah, Canada had the same, like, indigenous people horrible history that the U.S. did. They hide their secrets in their maple syrup reserves. Or America with moto jeans. Changed from A to B because I remember the news with the schools a few years ago. Yeah. I'll give you the rest of this 20 seconds to vote in this. But yeah, Canada. I want to learn more about Canada. What's going on up there? It's too cold. No, I literally grew up thinking Canada was like a magical, perfect country. No, me too. And I went to Canada when I was 10, and I was like, I fucking love it here. I love it here. I'm having the time of my life. Why did I think that? Honestly, Canada sucks. We suck bad. Canada's not the shit me thinks. Canada is America with free healthcare and letting in refugees. In Canada, we learned about residential schools in middle school, and they downplayed it and made it seem so average, and so I'm not surprised. Canada just said Justin Trudeau will hide all of our issues if he takes his shirt off. Canada said if we get a daddy president, everyone will forget, and it will be fine. And the scary part is it kind of worked. Loud. Game. What is a residential school, not a school? So why is a random trip to Canada a universal experience? So a residential school is basically they would kidnap indigenous children and put them in a boarding school to force them to speak English, read the Bible, cut their hair, like live like a white American Canadian lifestyle is the residential schools, and like why it's bad because the kids were literally kidnapped. So it's like it is a boarding school, but it's like a kidnapping torture boarding school because there was a lot of abuse that happened as well. A lot of kids died, a lot of kids were physically abused. Yeah, it's like a whole thing. Not good vibes. Got the notes prepped for the game. Lena's gonna slay fucking all of you. It's 10 questions. Which one do we want to do? Is there like a we're gonna do the space one because I feel like it's the most fitting for the they were kidnapped. Yeah, I'm going to lose. You're not going to lose Quarter Life Crisis. I made this one. There's no dates, and it's not as bad. Space for the LSD vibes. Yeah. We're going to go for the space one. If you were not in the Nearpod and you want to play the game, you still join if you want to. You can pick your little character people, guys. Imagine that house we looked at the other day and how I would be MKUltra in there. Bro, the Zillow MKUltra house. While you guys are doing this, let me look at TikTok. I haven't looked at her in a minute. I'm trying to be better about posting on TikTok. I haven't been doing it because I've been so busy and doing Twitch, but I really like TikTok, so I want to post more, you know? I'll give people a few more minutes to pick their little character, guys. Character, she, he, and theys. Oh my god, there's 29 people playing the game. TikTok is giving me videos of yours from February lately. So many of my old videos have been like, my TikTok is fucking weird. I don't know what's going on with it right now. Like, my new videos are doing terribly, but my old videos are doing very well. It's very odd. I do not understand. It's the algorithm's world. We're just living in it. I'm going to give people like less than another minute to pick their little people, and then I'm going to hit start. I only ever see you on my following page. Good to know. They don't know what to do with you now that you're not a teacher. I think that's what it is. I think the algorithm's just like, what are you? What are you? What's going on with you and what are you? Which is odd because I didn't always make teaching content before. I don't understand that algorithm. I'm just here for a good time. All right, it's been at 29 people for a while, so I'm assuming everybody... Oh, good. Every time I open the app, it's your videos? Good. Thank you, Nia Marielle. I think the algorithm is just figuring me out. It's refiguring me out. All of that, you know? We're in our vibe. But 29 people are here. I haven't seen that number go up in a hot minute, so I'm going to go ahead and hit start. It does rate you on how fast you answer the questions and if you're right. I tried to make this one like kind of easier because I felt like the last one was hard. Every time I open the app, it's all saved videos. Okay, good. I think it's like the algorithm's just going through a little funkiness with me, but it'll come back. This has happened before. It's fine. What did we talk about today? MKUltra. Not me getting the first one wrong. What time period did the program start? My dyslexia on that first question. Sorry. That question was kind of discriminatory towards people that read quickly or have dyslexia. Apologies. Dyslexia girly suffering on the first question. Yeah, that was a suffering question. I see a couple more people in the stream. If you want to join this game, I think it'll still let you. I just sent the Nearpod in the chat if you want to join. I don't know if it'll let you or not. We were in it together. Yeah, we'll get through this. Lena's slang, per usual. Which part of the government did this? Oh, rip, I missed the game. No, I think you can still do it, singing, writing 27. I think you can. I believe. Mad Hannah in first. Period. The researchers always asked for consent before dosing. True or false? Hannah in first, Jessica in second, Lena in third, Baron Rock in fourth. Neck and neck. Neck and motherfucking neck. All right, what group of people did the CIA want to prevent from growing, which was the motivation of this program? Everybody better get this right. Doing this drunk is rough. I was like feeling it a little bit ago, and now I'm like fine, which is good, because I want to go to McDonald's, so I can obviously need to be sober for that drive to the McDonald's, because you should drive sober or get pulled over. We do not support influenced driving around these parts. The program was successful in completing its objective. This is a tough question. Oh, how I wish it was racist, bro. I wish the CIA was using LSD to get rid of racist. I wish that was A, possible, and B, what their goal was. This question number 6 is hard. This is a teacher moment, because not only do you have to know what the objective was, you have to know if they completed it or not. I worked for a DUI attorney in college and saw so much shit. Really? Like what? Oh my God, Baron Rock in first, Lena in second, Leela in third, Hannah in fourth. Things just changed so quickly. Here's the Nearpod again. CIA agents also dosed themselves and each other, but only with the consent of everyone there. It's another hard question, because you have to read the entire question. That was a hint. I don't think it could be successful in anything. Read too fast. Stop, I didn't even know what the objective was. The objective is that they wanted to do like mind control, and they never figured it out. CIA agents dose themselves and each other without the consent of everyone involved. Did I already ask this? I feel like that was the same question. Sorry. That's what happens when I make this in 5 minutes without thinking. I probably hit duplicate on accident. Oh my God, Max in first, Leslie in second, Lena in third, Lauren in fourth. The first was with consent. Oh, thank you. Look at me. Who was the author of One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, who volunteered for MKUltra and then later promoted those LSD parties? What was his name? Do you guys like my answer choices? Do you guys like my wrong ones? I was pretty proud of these. I'm not gonna lie. Mr. Biden, big LSD guy. Biden needs to retire. If he runs for a second term, he shouldn't have run for a first. And if he runs for a second, I'm going to be really, really annoyed with it. The CIA kept all the records and was fully investigated for this. Make sure you read all your answer choices. No more old head. I think you should have to be under the age 65 to be the president. I don't think that's unrealistic. I think that's a pretty fair rule. Computer lag, but I got them all right. Haha, proud of you. Me thinking about how most of our politicians have lead poisoning. No, it gives me anxiety to think about. It gives me anxiety to think about all the politicians having lead poisoning. Let's go through our winners, though, on a more positive note. First, we have Leslie in first place. Shout out Leslie in first. We got Lena in second, Mir Panda in third, Lauren in fourth, PM in five. We got Carrie, and then Sydney, Max, Bear on Rock, Slay Girl Boss, Leela, Hannah, Nia, Organ Donor, Dare, Cheyenne, McGenna Binder, Jessica P, Daphne, Quarter Life Crisis, Tori, Roach, Clean, Caitlin, Singing, Writing, Taylor L, Olivia G, Bubbly Bop, Emily, and Karen, who were in, but sometimes we can't all be number one. So I am going to hang out for a few and chat as always, but that is all. Thank you for coming. Thank you to everyone who participated in Nearpod, played the game. Congratulations to our winners. Go Leslie in first place. We should play Book It for one of these streams. Oh, I should have done that. Next time I do office hours, I'll do a Book It game. That'll be fun. Let's do it. Thank you. I meant to do that and I forgot about it. We stand Leslie. Leslie! Learned so much. I'm glad we're learning. We're all learning, living, laughing, and loving, having the time of our lives. I'll hang out and chat for our moment. But then I have to go get McDonald's. Are we calling this office hours now? Oh, no. So I was talking the other day. So I do like education horror stories on Mondays and then history on Wednesdays. Got to go get MKUltra on a weeknight. Can't wait to rush Triota Alpha. Okay, so office hours. Let me focus. So we've been doing education horror stories on Mondays, histories on Wednesdays. I don't get education horror stories submitted to me as much anymore just because I'm not talking about teaching as much and everyone who kind of had something to say said it. And sometimes I don't have time to make slides or whatever. So sometimes on Mondays, instead of horror stories, I said I was just going to do someone came up with the idea of office hours where I just come on here and chat. So last Monday, we were looking at random Zillow listings. So if I ever I'll always do the history ones. These are my favorite. I have so much fun on these. I'll always do the history ones. But if it's ever a Monday and I don't have time to make the slides for the horror stories, or I just don't really have many submissions or something like that, I'll just do office hours and we'll just talk about whatever. We'll look at something that I've been interested in. We'll play a game, something like that. Do you have a Jackbox? No? What is that? Let me Google this. I need to check the mail, and I really don't feel like doing it. Oh, well. Oh, it's a game. I don't do games. Love the real estate one. It was super fun. The Trump 2020 got me. I made that the thumbnail on YouTube. Oh my God, we need to take a thumbnail for YouTube. Let me find one of the good memes. What meme should I use for the thumbnail? The house with the stripper pole in the neon bedroom. That was a great one. Office hours with Miss Redacted, the best. Everyone joins on their phone. It's so easy to use on there. Oh, nice. So which meme should we use for the thumbnail? Let me know in the chat, and then I'll have a little small moment, and then I can screen grab her and just use her for the thumbnail to make my own life easier. Because normally I'll look through the video and try and find one afterwards because I never remember to do this, but I'll do it right now. The JFK Jackie one, please. No, I can't take credit for it because it wasn't mine. It's so funny, but I can't. The one in the pool was hilarious. I'm seeing the pool one is the most popular one I'm seeing. Oh, shit. Okay, we'll do the pool one. I like the pool one too. Actually, should we do the pool one? It's tiny and hard to read, but whatevs. It's fine. I'll just we'll figure it out. Maybe here? Hell yeah. Hell yeah. There we go. That's bigger. Okay, everyone smile. Everyone behave. Put something good in the chat. The LSD one could work too. Which one? Which LSD one? The one with the little guy? I like the Zac Efron one, smiling. You mean this one? Actually, no. I think the pool one. I'm happy with the pool one. Okay. We're smiling. We're living, laughing, loving. Okay, yay, thumbnail. Oh my God, silly or serious? I fucking hate when I'm taking a group photo and someone is like, let's do a silly one. That shit makes me so mad. Oh my God, of course the like fucking like chat freezes when I'm trying to do this. Ugh. Let me delete the chat, fucking re-add it, continue to be great in the chat, and add the things so that it's up there when I add her. Shit is so annoying. Like, it's always at the worst time. God. I'm tired and I hate it here. I'm mad. Oh my God, the mugshot's here. The fucking mugshot is here. Oh my God, it's approved. Yes. Okay, let me give it a second for the chat to like be in her moment again. The mugshot. It's not a mugshot. It's my FTCE teaching certification first class photo. Kind of nervous. Why do we collectively have one brain cell? Like all of us together collectively have one brain cell fully. Okay, I took it. Period. I'll do more. I'll pick which one. The chat one is the best. The pride hearts love sharing a brain and the mugshot. Okay, this was great. I need to eat something. This is another one of my favorite. Wait, I think I just blinked. Let me post the notes. Oh wait, let me get back to a collaborate board so you can post the notes. Ta-ta. Okay, thank you, Lena. Thank you for the reminder. Where do you look for sources? I like history.com, I like NPR, and I like Wikipedia, but I check to make sure the Wikipedia sources are like legit. Those are my favorite sources. Okay, Lena, I'm ready for your notes. I put the collaborate board up. Oh my God, an icon. Truly an icon among us. Saving, always. Actually, I'll save it afterwards so that everyone doesn't see my files. MKUltra. This is iconic. If you want Lena's notes, shoot me an email. I'm happy to send it to you because she is an icon and has provided us with amazing notes. We'll send t-shirt design to email by Wednesday. Thank you so much. That is so fucking nice of you. That's literally so nice of you to make a design for me and do that. I don't think you realize like how much that warms my heart that you are making that. And it also warms my heart, the notes, like, and thank you to the first time watch that said this was so much fun. Like I'm literally, I shit you not, having the time of my fucking life. Like, I know that kind of gave frat boy energy, but I really do love it on here. Like, I think this is such a fun environment. I love it. Big fan since last year. Literally pumped for the shirts. I'm so excited. Heads up, I can't come next week. Someone has to be in charge of notes. Okay, work together. Someone else is going to be in charge of the notes. Lena is busy, very understandable. All of that. But someone else is in charge of notes next week. Okay. Peace and love. Good night. Best part of the day. But I can make my own knockoff merch until the real merch comes out. Yes, you can make your own knockoff merch. I won't be offended. It's okay. Mondays and Wednesdays. Sorry, no brain cells. Okay, bye. Have a good night. Love you. Make good choices. All the things.